and the Noctis one, and all I see is black.
Oh, you guys are there. Yeah, here you go.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
All right. Let's see. Announcement posted, and then going to the Discord for the announcement posted. Enter. All right, there we go. And we do appear to be live. So who would like to give the recap for inspiration? Yes.
I guess I can go through it this time.
Mm.
So, last time on the exciting episode of Whispering Nights, we spent like 20 minutes arguing over whether or not we should go back or not. But then we did end up going back. We trekked around the premises before heading back into the mausoleum, descending a stairwell that seemed like it took forever, but was actually probably less than 5 minutes. Exploring the tomb, we noted the graves of multiple dynasty family members before encountering some undead, and then beyond them, even more undead who knew Fireball and also drained more of Tarvis's hit points. So we are looking at a situation where we are once again in grave danger and need to recover our resources.
Mm-hmm. It is true, it is true. You have gained your inspiration.
Embalming fluid.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of embalming fluid.
It's true. It's, just a stack of barrels.
Which doesn't make any sense, because if they were as old as the Dynasty period, they'd be damn near the fluid you'd think would dry up or something.
Either that or necromancer are living here right now.
And all I know is that somebody thought it looked really tasty.
As you begin to look around the slain remnants of these reborn warriors, you do notice something of note. The knights, we will call them, even though you don't technically know they're the knights, but the Barrow Knights, upon their remnants, obviously they had the ancient bronze armor and weaponry, the core of them, there is this weird wispy-like energy. So there is something about them that one who is magically inclined might know how to harvest.
Hey!
I was about to say, only if we knew somebody who was magically inclined.
Additionally, I believe I actually already did this. I'm remembering now that I provided you guys with a weird, like, Dark Souls wispy thing, which was there. Yeah, okay. Yep, I did this. You guys, I'm just reminding you now. Reminding myself, I reminded you that, hey, there's some loot if you guys want to loot the bodies.
Gain!
Mm-hmm. Started describing, I was like, wait, I already did this.
We got some more of that wispy stuff.
And as the silence of this tomb kind of washes over you, something seems to diminish within our good companion Zerai. The strange urge to devour what is most certainly not edible, the embalming fluid, subsides. You feel fine. It's, it's a little weird that happened, but, it's no longer there.
You don't look so good, Tarvis.
I don't feel so good either. They attack like the raids.
It's unfortunate we do not have something to remedy the drain they inflict upon you.
Oh, we didn't get to check them for what reverses that before we killed them. Can I do a general check on that?
Yes, you can. You can give me a religion.
Religion?
Give you a help, but not much.
I rolled like shit.
Oh, I have religion. I can give you aid.
Oh, hey.
Guidance?
Alright. Let's see if I get a better roll.
Alright.
Can I break the 20? I can break the 20.
So
Ooh,
24 for Kane and 20 for Kashmir. I assume you also guidance yourself, Kashmir.
Oh,
Let's see here.
boom, 24. I still win.
Aha! Alright, 24 and 24. Both of you realize that the Barrow Knights life-draining effect is very similar to those of the wraiths above. A long rest will cure it. Dying from this effect by reaching 0 hit points will cause you... Or, reaching 0 hit points will cause you to die from this effect. Additionally... you are aware that this feature can be cured through particular reagents, those dedicated to life. So if you have any life reagents upon your persons or anything of that nature, you guys could create a tincture to cure this effect. Specifically, you would need reagents of a grade of... I'm pretty sure it's fine, but I want to make sure real quick. It's right here on my book, and I have it open, and it is... Yes, fine quality. Specifically, minor rare.
Yeah,
If you have minor rare or stronger reagents that have the life property, you can use that to make a tincture.
the only life-related anything we have is the sensor of life, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunate. And for those reagents that you're seeing on the magic items, like sensor of life, as you mentioned, that is not reagents that you have access to. That is what was used to make the item. So if you wanted to recreate it yourself, you can be like, oh, I just need these reagents and I can make it. You can make a carbon copy. Well, besides the actual appearance of the item.
Would it be possible to get examples of what life reagents would be?
Yeah, so let me just scroll on through.
I can also give a roll for that if you'd like.
Sure. Give me
Have
a
bunch of gems. One of them
nature or arcana.
I'll give Arcana. Roll good. Self-guidance is one hell of a drug.
Hell yeah.
Alright, let's see. So, there are certain things such as, mundane items, flowers, vigorous creatures' hearts. So perhaps a griffin. To be clear, the creatures would be magically inclined. Most plants and the like, even if they are mundane, do have some semblance of a power to them. So even a basic goldenrod flower, that might be a reagent. Not a very powerful one, but enough to do some things.
How
Which
about
is
a manticore heart?
a manticore heart could very well have life. If
We have
you're
two of those.
let's see here. If you're looking for something that is guaranteed to have the life reagent, a troll's heart would 100% be guaranteed because it has regeneration properties as a troll. So if you're looking for specific creatures to hunt, anything that would have a higher than normal health pool, anything that would have a ability to gain fast healing or regeneration, or anything that has a natural ability to restore hit points through simple actions, those will most likely have some form of life reagent. Another thing that would most likely have some form of life reagent to it would be creatures that have particular ties to the positive energy sphere. So spirits, angels, certain powerful elementals, a bunch of things of that nature. In terms of plants, though, things that you could probably find mundanely, there are certain plants I would require a nature check for those, but as an example, I believe honey thistle is a plant that does have life as a reagent. I'd have to look at my notes for that one specifically, but honey thistle is a very common plant that can be harvested by any basic herbologist to acquire a poor quality life reagent. Not enough for you guys, but mundane plants, things that in the real world we'd be like, that's just a basic flower. They can provide such things, and in fact, they're the most common reagent harvested for potions of healing. Would be these honey thistles and similar.
So, interesting question. Would the undead that had regen maybe have such a reagent?
Yeah, it's possible.
We still have to do this harvest. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you still have to look through the bodies and harvest them.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, my saying the thing is there is not a. You can just grab it. You do have to roll.
Yeah, it's an Arcana check, right?
To harvest this particular thing, it is an Arcana, yes. Sometimes it will be a survival. Sometimes it will be specifically a herbalism kit check. Sometimes it might be an alchemy check. It depends on the type of reagent it is specifically. For things of a spiritual nature, of more arcane and energy or source, will probably be an Arcana check. Or it might even be a religion check if it's spiritual and faith. But, you know, for this one's Arcana.
Alright. So, can I start rolling 2 harvest bodies?
Yes, you can. You have 2 Baronites to harvest, so you can give me 1 roll per.
1 roll per?
One
Do
roll
I have
per.
advantage in guidance, guys?
Any of you proficient in Arcana, other than our good friend Kane?
I was gonna give him guidance, but Tarvis already handled that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're proficient in Arcana, then you can get your aid. Otherwise, you can't. If you don't have someone else who can help you.
I am not proficient in it.
Casimir is, but also Kane has a book that Casimir doesn't like, and he doesn't want to give it to him. So
No,
Consequences of my actions there.
So it seems like, since no one is speaking up at this point in time, besides the one who says 9, no advantage, unfortunately.
Okay.
You do have
roll.
plus
23.
23.
Alright, that's the first one.
Right, first one.
Second one.
And
Guidance
second one.
from harvest, that's 24.
All right. 1 second. Someone's at my door. All right, that is 2 successful checks as you are able to harvest the essence of unlife from these creatures and add it to a vial, a small wisp of energy. Let's see here.
Can I also just do for the other 6?
Oh, the basic reborn warriors and reborn mage, they don't have any essence. They're just gems.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just leave behind onyx gem shards. But which I've already applied, as you can see from your lab. So, but you have gained 3 essences of unlife, which are excellent quality, rare reagents that have death, life, and soul. So you could use one of them to produce a tincture to cure the life draining effect.
Nice.
Could
That's
we
alchemy tool,
use
right?
the
Mhm.
food token
Oh, about the food
as
token?
a way to create life?
Food tokens by their nature are magical, so it is possible one could use it as a life reagent. I'd have to look at the quality of the token first, though, to see if it actually counts as the high enough quality. But no, food tokens are 100% considered, technically speaking, a reagent. I say technically speaking because they're also considered a magical consumable. That was a little weird, but you know, it's fine.
So we have 2 options before us. Either A, we go rest, or B, we could try to prepare something with the essences we got from these nerds.
I
I
could
think
attempt
the
to
better-
make an essence.
the better option is to go rest, attempt to create the tincture then, and then return.
Have one on hand instead of wasting it. What'd you say, Morkeg?
If we're heading out to rest, I'd much rather. I want to scout because we have barely moved before we got attacked, and there's rooms to the north, rooms to the west. We don't know what's in them.
Yes, but
It seems that the enemies are conglomerated to the south. I want to scout, see what's going on. Maybe find some dead ends so we don't have to go there anymore.
I could offer you invisibility, but it won't be much help against the undead.
As you're speaking, Zerai, you know something strange. At the corner of your eye, you're not sure if it's Tarvis or something behind them, but there is a strange glow in their general vicinity, seemingly like silhouetting their figure.
You take a couple steps to the right.
What?
You take a couple steps to the right.
All right. As they step to the right, you don't think it was them. As you notice, there is a gaping maw within the wall here.
Mm.
Two flashing eyes that seem to blink and look at you.
What?
No one else sees this, by the
Oh.
way. No one else sees this.
Oh,
There's a
okay.
mouth over there. Does
Uh,
anyone see that, or have
What
they
now?
got my head?
you might be afflicted with something. I do not see anything.
Or it is perhaps another illusion generated by the manor.
Could be more
Nice.
ghosts.
I see a mouth in the wall. Just letting you know.
All right. Well, where on the wall is it?
Right where Tarvis was sitting.
All right. Casimir will shoot a radiant fireball at where Tarvis was standing.
All right. The fireball slaps into the wall and kind of just like sputters out. Zerai, you see the fireball shoot towards the creature, and it opens its mouth and devours the firebolt. Feed more.
That didn't work. Somebody needs to fix me.
From your
Something wrong with my head.
From your earlier checks on the particular draining effect from the Baronites, you recall that this drain triggers not only a energy draining effect, the one that can reduce one's vigor and life energy, but also can drain their mind of their sanity. Temporarily speaking.
So it's afflicted madness.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, let's go out and go to sleep, please.
Do we know if resting will get rid of the madness?
You guys rolled pretty high, so I'll just let you know what it does. The madness itself is short term. The madness seems to alter and shift based upon the current scene and the effects of what caused it. You know that it lasts for a d10 minutes, changing every minute, so it's not going to last for too long.
Ah, good. So her eye's gonna hallucinate different things every minute. That's awful.
It's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
it is.
All right, you two. I still want to explore, so if you do have the invisibility spell, we'll take it.
Mm-hmm. Step up to and press the button. Oh, wait a minute. I can only cast at level 2 because I'm okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It's third level. I have to choose somebody else. But,
Nice. All right, I'm invisible. I'm gonna do a stealth check.
Just so you know, your macro did draw from your second level pool instead of your first level pool. I know you cast like a warlock, so just minor tweak for your macro.
Oh yeah. I need to fix that. Yeah.
All right, and then suddenly Morcag disappears from view and disappears from sound.
And I'm gonna go and explore the areas we skipped because of the sounds.
All right. While they go and do that, the weird mouth thing is continuing to ask for it to be fed, but that's fine. What are you guys doing down here?
I thought we were leaving.
Just pop one on out.
Are we leaving?
We need to go take a long rest for Tarvis.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
And Zerai now too, because they're going insane.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
more of a
you're
minor
not-
inconvenience, you know?
So you guys would head on out to the main hall, and then make your way back up the stairs
Up
and
the ridiculous stairs.
out to the
yes.
mausoleum. Okay. While that's going on, we'll take you some time, so we're going to do Morcag's movement first. So I'm going to go into second continuously, and follow you around in DMU as I reveal stuff.
Right, so let's go in here. This is where we
Let's
originally
see
wanted
here.
to go.
Center continuously. Here we go. All right. As you pop on to the eastern hall, you see it continues on further and further east before opening up into what appears to be a worked stone cubbyhole. How far is your dark vision?
Standard, at least 60 feet?
Okay.
Yeah, 60 feet.
I'll reveal this much, even though I'm pretty sure that's totally more than it's fine. The hallway itself does seem to be lit somewhat by sconces, and you can see there's yet another section of grave markers, though these ones are locked into place, and headstones in symbology of a yin and yang. That symbol of Pharasma, which, you guys saw in the previous one.
Yeah. So around this part, that's when it's, is it like natural progression, or is it like...
It seems like the portion of the stonework here started to get covered by dirt. Like something gave way to the stonework that they were working on, but the walls themselves were unworked here. So you think it was partially due to perhaps like some shifting of the earth, but also because this is not a fully worked area. And as you get ever closer, you can see that it does have what appears to be a small divot in the ground, seemingly the initial creation of a grave. It's about 3 feet deep, and there is a lit brazier in the corner. Otherwise, it is a dead end that you can see.
There's nothing in the grave.
Nothing in the grave.
Something else woke up, more than likely. I'll just do a quick investigation on the grave, see if I notice anything.
All right.
18.
Looking over the grave, you do notice that the earth itself appears to be damp relative to the other loose soil here, indicating that it is likely somewhat fresh.
So this got... Alright. Alright, next. Gonna shoot the whoop. Let's go north.
You can just drop your token, I'll drop my thing. There we go. Alright. Heading on north.
Yeah.
Up the stairs, you can see it kind of curves off into a small hallway. I'm on the wrong thing. Here we go. And it curves off both east and west, which I am going to reveal a bit further.
Where's this? Is it a grave?
Has another grave, a stairwell heading down to the grave, and bam.
Okay, so that connects the rest. Let's clear the fog of war.
All right, I'm just gonna
this way.
I'm just gonna clear it for you. You'd see it kind of mirrors itself on the other end with another gravestone, and there's several sarcophagi within the alcoves on the north and south of this larger chamber, with lit candelabras flanking them.
Alright, so this is at the... Well, this looks dead-endish, but I'm just gonna go actually this way. And I go down the stairs. Is this also a dead end? Because I don't know, it feels like
It's a dead end, yeah. I'm just
okay.
yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna get the names of these graves.
All right.
And I'm gonna investigate the general area as well.
Give me an investigation.
Investigation. Oh god. And there you go. Oh, hell yeah. Getting some names here.
One of the tombs is just gonna be listed as Steve. Not Steve Dinesti, just Steve.
Just Steve.
win.
Your name is... okay. Why is he named that? Okay, that's fine. Right, and these gravestones, you would have... the tomb down here has a scratched off name. The other ones have been revealed.
Nice. This might be useful, who knows. Alright, so that was him investigating. So nothing off with the so
The 26 was your
coffins?
investigation for the area?
Yeah.
Oh. Alright, as you're looking around, the coffins don't seem to have anything of note, at least nothing that you can find without opening them. But what you do notice is these two alcoves, here and here, the plate, which you've seen in the other alcoves that look similar to this house, that house is a grave, these ones are different. They seem somewhat pressure sensitive, we'll say.
Alright. Well, I'm good at running away, so if anything bad happens. I'll go ahead and press.
Right, you pop onto that there pressure plate. You hear the faint sound of grinding stone echoing throughout the chamber.
Does it stop, or
It stops after a couple seconds.
I step out?
You hear a similar sounding grinding of stone echoing throughout the chamber.
Oh, okay. We need both pressed, I'm guessing. Alright. Alright, good. Alright, so that's something to report back.
Alright.
Alright, last thing I want to check. I do see some areas that we haven't fogged of war, like this place.
Alright, curving on down there. Oh, wrong. Here we go. Boop.
Oh my god. Poke it out?
Alright, as you curve around the corner, your stuff is 23. Alright, that's good to know. Just gonna do this real quick.
God, this place is bigger.
Pretty big.
Pretty big.
Alright. You see it, say, larger chamber, opening in with a raised platform on the north and south, as well as yet further hallways continuing south and west. You can see the main hallway that you fought the reborn warriors and the whites from earlier is just to the east. But what's notable, though, is from here you can begin to hear something a bit concerning, perhaps.
I'm gonna do a perception check to see if I can hear better.
Begin to hear the sound of steel clopping upon stone and a faint You're
Undead
not
voices?
sure if that's a Winnie or something different, but it's definitely concerning.
Where did it come from? From the east, the west?
With the 16, it's hard to tell exactly where it's coming from due to the echoey nature of these unhallowed halls, we'll say. But it's hearable.
All right,
You hear
I'm gonna peek my head to see if I can see through this.
All right.
Okay. All right. Just gonna do a will save to see if I'm. Okay, he's not a coward. I'm gonna go explore this other area.
All right.
Peeking through this room.
You'd find 2 small alcoves with yet more sarcophagi. And for simplicity, and I assume you're gonna peek into them as well, because
Yeah, the rooms.
There you go.
Wow. Okay. Is the sound getting louder, or is it the hollowed halls not helping with the?
It's as you're going eastward, it does appear to get louder, but so does another sound. You would begin to hear the sound of trickling water coming from the east.
Oh yeah.
Which I would say it's hard to tell exactly where, but as you're getting further east, it's becoming louder, so it's pretty easy to tell now.
Alright, I'm gonna just peek through this hallway, see if it's
Alright.
different.
At this point, I need to roll some checks myself, but I'll reveal a lot of this chamber.
Oh, I'm also invisible.
You
Oh,
are
they have
invisible.
life sense.
You do have life sense, yes.
I have blind fighting.
Alright.
I found the pool.
Now, from this point, I need to go and check something. You have a 23 stealth. Do I bother rolling, or am I good to just... Really? Alright. Let's go.
Again, I'm dipping. This is too much. Oh, maybe.
Then you would see an additional... I'm just making things visible for you in just a moment. It's one of these guys, right? Yeah. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So from here, what you can see, I will reveal some creatures. Which I actually need to add VBL to the center building, because it's letting you see things you shouldn't be able to see before I reveal them. There we go. Alright. And make sure these are set properly. And bam. Okay. What are you seeing now? See the same I had previously selected, and those two. Okay. Boop.
Oh.
You would find some undead within the area. Skeletons and zombies. Shambling about the area. They don't seem to notice you. They are here.
Because I'm dipping. I'm going back. That's enough. That's enough solo venture.
Alright.
Didn't even look south. Worst rogue.
Listen, I value my life. But we're going south anyways. Like, it was mainly like the top area I wanted to check. Yeah. The rest was indulgence.
Alright. Throughout the minutes that Mordecai was down there, Zerai, your hallucinations would alter and change. Sometimes you might suddenly be overcome with a fit of giggles. Sometimes you might be given the appearance that all of your allies are covered in a thick slime and it smells just utterly horrible. Your senses are going all sorts of haywire, but it does ease up before Mordecai even rises up the stairs. In the meantime, you guys do have some time if you guys wanted to do anything before Mordecai returns.
I didn't have anything in mind, mostly because exploring this place seems kind of hazardous to your health otherwise. So.
Mm-hmm.
On our way out, can I? Well, I will mention that if we're looking for reagents for making concoctions, perhaps we should peruse the garden that we're walking past on the way.
True. Or poke her head out at the grove if it is at that back.
It's worth a shot, I suppose, but it looks more. Well, actually, I don't remember. Well, we saw pumpkins in it, so.
Yeah, we haven't checked out this yet, so there might be something good in here.
All right, yeah, that good. I don't think I've seen that garden, so I don't know what's there.
All right. There you go. You guys are free to explore and maneuver about. Morkag will return to the party given about 10-15 minutes of downtime down below.
Actually, I do have one question. Can we see this tree over the hedges?
Yes, you can. You can see that as you're looking over the hedges now to the east, there is quite a large willow tree. And something strange about it. There's lights floating around it. Now, you guys can give me a nature check as you notice this.
Wow, it's almost like Nerf knew exactly what I was going to ask.
I did choose that tree image specifically, so, you know. I had a choice to choose one that did not have the lights, and I chose to keep the lights. Alright. Looking out towards the tree, you do certainly have some concerns as you look towards it. One, you have heard tale of wisps, spiritual creatures that appear as floating balls of light that are said to drag hapless victims who investigate them to their deaths through paralytic touch and a sense of what's the word for it? It's an F word. A fascination of their lights. You know that many of these creatures are known by many names, but most common name is a will-o-wisp. It is likely that those lights are such things, especially as will-o-wisps are said to be find their homes within areas heavily I can't think of the word for it, heavily instilled with spiritual energy, or areas that are often home to death, such as swamps, mires, particular parts of forests, similar things of that nature. What you'd also know as a 19, it's not always specifically death so much as ties to the spirit world, to the ethereal plane, or to the Feywild, as will-o-wisps are many different things. But if there's a particular gateway to the Feywild, it's likely there are some wisps nearby. There's a particular weak spot between the veil of life and death. There's most likely going to be some will-o-wisps. Or if it's simply just a place of death and the spirit was not strong enough to pass on into a ghost, the spirit might have passed on into a will-o-wisp. Essentially a partial soul.
Well, Casimir will relay all that to the party and suggest that it is perhaps better that we don't venture over there for the time being until we resolve other things here. Will-o-wisps are, well, they're, to my understanding, primarily fey, but hazardous to one's health.
Aye, they're a distraction for now.
Alright. As you lot look around the area, it doesn't take too long before Morkag returns.
It's only been a couple minutes, right?
About a quarter of an hour by the time they get back.
Oh my god, he's still invisible.
Still invisible.
Were we waiting here or checking out the garden?
Did you guys hear something?
Can you beat my stealth check? No, I'm kidding.
No.
I'd like to check out the garden. Everybody wanders off to the garden, ignoring the invisible Morkag that they can't see.
I think we were
I
looking
mean, I'm guessing
for
you guys are already there.
life
Probably.
flowers.
Yeah, you guys were doing the search, right? While I was doing my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, give me a survival check. As you look through the rows of flowers, an herbalism kit check with wisdom would be much more appropriate, but I assume you guys might not have that, so Survival would be
I can do that
fantastic.
one.
Well, herbalism would be most appropriate.
Plus proficiency.
Oh no, bad roll.
No, no.
Slash
Yeah, all these flowers are
R,
worthless. None of them have any magical value to them.
20 plus
These flowers aren't even flowers; they're vegetables.
2 plus wisdom is 1. This is the best I could do for herbalism kit check.
All right, all right.
Guidance 16. Okay.
What are you doing?
Did anybody hear that?
Right, I'm still invisible. If you could break the spell.
Candle end concentration.
All right. As you gain concentration and look back to the flowers around you, you would notice that there are some flowers within this garden that could be useful. Specifically, you would find that there is a section of lavender, there's a section of chamomile, there's a section of hibiscus, and there is a section of a flower known as moonrod. These flowers are all reagents in their own right.
I will point them out to whoever is skilled enough to harvest them. Which might be me.
Harvesting
But
them
you
would
just-
be most appropriate for herbalism. If you don't have herbalism, survival would be the next best thing.
Okay. I have herbalism, but Tarvis,
See.
I believe, has a lot of survival.
It would be a dexterity to harvest them.
Oh, I have herbalism kit. That's right. I took it from the druid book.
Hey, herb dex.
Yeah, I can use sleight of hand.
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal these flowers.
Yeah, mine would only be a +4.
I'm
I have
going
a
sleight
6
of hand.
survival.
Same. Well, for my sleight of hand, if I use dex. I do have herbalism kit, so that's dex. I. Oop. Oh,
Alright.
+5, I mean.
This
Listen,
for
since
the-
I have proficiency, can I help him?
Yes, you can. Are you
Okay.
working on the chamomile, lavender, hibiscus, or moonrod first?
Let's go with moonrod.
All right.
And you said I could have advantage, so that's 29.
Hey.
D9.
I'm really good at stealing plants, guys. Nice. Alright, so we should do one for each then. So next is the hibiscus. Advantage again, I presume. So that's 25. 25.
You are able to harvest 5 moonrod bulbs, which are refined minor rare reagents of bestial life, nature, and soul.
Ooh.
And then 25 on the hibiscus.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, exactly what we need.
Nice, nice. Next is wait, where is it? Lavender. Next is the lavender. So if you have advantage, 19. For the lavenders.
So, Danu, I don't suppose you would let me borrow that Soul Guard ring to defend against these soul attacks, I suppose? Soul-sucking undead creatures?
Soon as you mention the ring, she kind of puts her hand behind her back. Maybe. Would you give it back to me?
Of course.
She takes I'm gonna incite that. I feel like he has no intention of
You're carrying all of Tarvis's material wealth in his bag of holding.
I know. she's she thinks about it. She considers it. And she looks at him. How hurt is he? Does he look really hurt? He look like he's worse for the wear. Oh wait, has he? Have you actually had a long rest?
No.
No.
No,
She's at, like,
I'm
half health.
missing. I am
Max.
missing more than half of my max health, so
Oh,
I'm looking scrawny and weak and tired.
Man's literally on death's door. I don't know if you need it, you know.
Why does it say 23 out of 23?
Because my max health is currently 23 instead of what it should be, which is
I see.
my what is it? 54. Yeah, I should have
Okay.
54 max health.
Really?
Mhm.
Danu's
Yeah.
got a lot of HP. She puts her hand in front of her. She looks at the ring, spins it around on her finger, thinks about it, pulls it off, and hands it to him. As long as you're gonna give it back, I really like it. I've grown attached to it.
I'm only gonna borrow it. And Tarvis will look at it real hard and see if he can actually even get it on his pinky, because if I remember correctly, it was a small ring.
It was.
Can he even wear it?
Don't magic items adjust to the size?
Yeah.
No, Cashmere. No.
All right. With your rolls, you're able to harvest 3 hibiscus root saps, which you can apply to vials. They are poor quality, poor rated, common quality reagent of life, nature, and summer. Then you have harvested 5 lavender petal pulps, which you can apply to open vials that you might have. They are of mundane grade of basic quality with dexterity, nature, and wisdom. And you have 18 sects of chamomile leaf juice, which you can apply to vials. And they are of, again, mundane basic grade of darkness, life, nature, and time properties. And that's what you can harvest within this garden.
I believe with the essences and maybe the moon rod, I could make some potions to help Tarvis. And whomever is dealt with the drain.
If I recall correctly, they needed to be of what, good quality or higher for the anti-drain?
For the anti-drain, they need to be of at least minor rare quality or higher. So the moonrod bulb or the essence of unlife will both work.
Cool. Do you guys want me to use the moonrod bulb or the essence?
So, out of character, from a financial standpoint, the moon rod bulb is most likely less valuable.
Hehehe. I can make something
Whichever
else with the
one is
essence.
less stable, we should use that.
Which one?
Whichever one is least stable.
I mean, most
As in,
stable,
it's
right?
likely to spoil by the time we could sell it.
Ah, okay. Alright, so the Moonrod bulb then. Alright, I wish to make that potion. I do have the alchemist kit.
Should
Alchemist
probably do
supplies.
that elsewhere rather than here.
Hmm.
Ghost corrupted potions. Oh, what?
Mm-hmm.
Could go back to the wagon. A carriage, I mean.
I guess we go around this way for once. See the sights.
Zoop de hoop.
Well, last time I think we just exited around, going around the property, right?
Yeah,
Went through
we went through the. There's an exit to the back.
Mm-hmm. You guys pop through the little break in the hedge there.
to avoid getting teleported into the attic again. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Maybe next time you won't be so lucky. Maybe the guy will materialize and actually hit you with an axe.
And
Huh.
and while we walk, Morkang is gonna just go over details about what he found. So to the left, once we have entered, I found some tombs with several names of the dynasty family. There's a device that needs 2 people in order to activate. I believe it opens up a passage.
I forget if we ever asked. Sorry, go ahead.
It might need the right bloodline.
No, once I stepped on it, it started to activate, but there's 2 pressure points.
I wanted to ask Nerp. Did we ever ask if there was anything the Dynasties were notable for other than being like nobles?
May I look through my notes?
I mean, if not, I'm happy to roll a history check. But...
I definitely have to roll a history check, but
He's also gonna share the names of that he found in case it triggers something in their minds.
you can go ahead and give me history.
Oh, if you do your roll, then I'll dump lore and do history. Look at that welcoming path. Look at it. That's
welcoming.
clearly the actual road to the someplace, or rather.
And if it matters, I do have like Bruges court lore.
History.
Proficiency.
All right. What you'd note, Casimir, the Dynasty family was an old house before the actual founding of the Bruges Empire. That's pretty much all you really know. For Kane, with a 26 and Lauren Bruges courts, obviously you know that they were an old noble house before the founding of the First Empire of Bruges. What you would know, though, is that this particular house, they were considered, I wouldn't quite say rebellious, that's not really a good word for it, but sovereign from the empire when it was formed. In fact, that it is known from many of the stories that you read back at your time in court that this particular house fought to protect the Vale of Bacano and the force therein from the encroaching empire and the people therein. Using not just, soldiers, men-at-arms, and basic magics of, any wizard could produce. It is said that they used powers otherworldly. Not in a way that, one second, my cat was making noises. You okay there?
Yeah.
It was a hairball. They're okay. All right. Not in a way in terms of like the magic that they were using. It wasn't in a way that the old lords used. The ones that, transformed Bruges into the corrupted place it had become before the Crusades. Air quotes. But they seemingly used witchcraft, it is said, spiritual alignments with fey creatures and spirits that they align themselves with.
Hmm.
You know that the forest itself is said to be under their protection, and the strange workings, the darkened nature of the forest, the power that it has, the beasts and curses within, are all said to be some form of under some form of benefit or boon by House Dynasty, making it even harder for this area to be tamed. Let me go look through some more of this. It is said that their house itself was gifted with a most potent bloodline of magic. Magic that many believe was simply stolen or claimed by these fey spirits, but with a 26 in Bruges courts, you would know that it's not really the case. That was just people making excuses for such gifted practitioners. Their bloodline itself, though, goes back many, many generations, even during the Primogen's reign, as they are an old, even ancient house. But those stories about the Fae, they weren't all wrong. It is said in the time of the rise of the Empire of Perugia, there was at least one deal struck with the darkened Fae of the Ensealy court. At least, now that's what the tales say. A witch in the woods that these once noble house spoke to and made deals with.
No thanks.
Bulldog Fox. Huh. Okay. I relate everything I remember to the party.
Mm-hmm.
I nod. Say that the wood. This is all about those trees, because he wants this land. I'm almost certain to sell that wood, to cut and sell it, and we would like to have it so we could use it for weapons and armor. But it doesn't surprise me that if it's still standing today and nobody's been guarding it, that doesn't make any sense. Somebody's guarding it.
You know, that's a good question. Is this tree in the corner one of those special trees?
I was muted!
Oh, you were muted.
Yeah, that it appears to be some form of willow tree. It does definitely seems to have something weird about it due to the willow wisps surrounding it, so that's something interesting. But it doesn't appear to be a dark wood, no. Those look more like oak trees.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with a blackened bark and a deep green leaf.
It works very well for druidic armor, druidic weapons. I mean, druids to the south would love to get their hands on some of it.
What am I implying?
If they haven't already.
The thing is, the grove's still standing according to the headman.
Well, we could go see for ourselves what protects the grove.
I would say we should continue on what we're doing before we take a sidetrack.
Indeed, resolve this, and let Tarvis rest, of course, before we go on any other expeditions. We can investigate before we notify the hetman that the manor has been cleared.
So, can
You know,
I
that's-
make the potions?
So, with your knowledge of alchemy, potion crafting itself is not a simple process, especially for potions that have potent reagents to them. It will take time.
I can
Now,
assist.
let me go look at this real quick to see if you can reduce the time. Because the base timeline you're looking at is 48 hours of brewing. So 2 days of just brewing.
Of just brewing.
Yeah, so I need to go see if you have anything that you could reduce that with real quick. Do you have the Master Craftsman's feat?
Nope.
Alright. Do you have any fine quality or higher quality tools?
Nope.
Do you have a workshop for alchemy?
Well, if you go back to town, I can break into the guy's home at night.
Well, if you have any of those things, then you can reduce the time. Otherwise, you have to, unfortunately, deal with the base 48 hours of crafting.
Is that for one potion?
The way that brewing works for reagents of a consumable magical item, which this would be, is that you are brewing a batch. The number of potions that can be made in a batch are based upon the reagent quality. So, for a minor rare, which is one it'd be using, it can make 6 potions per batch, per one reagent. So, 1 reagent equals 6 potions.
Alright. It'll take me 2 days to make a batch. I should be able to make 6 potions. But I'll need the 2 days to do it.
Would leave us a little pressed for time. We'd only have 3 remaining.
Do we? Well, once we get the potions, we more than likely will be fine adventuring, right?
Ideally, but it also gives us minimal time to account for other hindrances that may occur. After all, we operate on limited resources regardless.
There's also that secret I found that could lead to some valuables that could be useful for our trek. Among other valuables. Shifty eyes.
I have a question,
Hmm?
right? Given my earlier research into books on Fae and stuff in the Druid's library, any of the ley lines intersect with Rosefane Manor?
You will need to give me a Arcana check for that one.
Okay.
We could investigate the manor further. It might have a workshop, but we might also cause interference with the spirits within.
Yes, I don't know if you'd want to work under the pressure of, whatever we've seen in there.
Also, let's say, for example, we go back and then Tarvis or anybody else gets trained once more. We're going to have to leave and rest once more. So, having 6 potions on hand after 2 days' wait would spare us that.
It would, potentially, but...
There's also something else I heard within the tomb. I did not see it, but it sounded bigger than what we've already fought.
I was going to suggest that, actually, maybe this would be an out-of-counter scene. Anyway, we could just go back to town. Probably cost us the same amount of time, and then you can use the workshop from the Alchemist Shell.
Would it take us 2 days to get back? Like if we go take the carriage back south?
What time of day is it currently?
It is currently early morning.
Like if we don't waste the day, we could probably head back to town.
How long did it take us to get to, or from the Menhir Stones to here?
Like an hour? Well, with the zombie horde longer, but...
Let's see here.
How long would it take at a slow pace? Because since there was a zombie horde, we probably want to take a slow pace so that we see them before we run into them.
So the Menhir Stones themselves, they are about 14 miles away from you in your current position. At a slow pace with your carriage, you guys could travel there in about 5 hours.
Okay, then for the Menhir Stone to the back to town, that was like half a day's worth, right?
Well, from the Menhir Stone back to town, you would be looking at a total of about 60 miles to get back to town, which at a slow or medium pace on there.
Let's go medium.
Okay.
Yeah, probably
Because
medium.
we're on the road, it's less likely to get encounters.
Mhm.
About 5 hours with your carriage.
So a
That's the
total
entire
of 10
day,
hours to get back to town, which
and
is
then we
day.
long rest, and then we come back for the next day. But then isn't that the same amount of time? Then if we just waited here for 2 days for me to brew the potions?
Well, we also just long rested. How long do you have to wait before you could long
You
rest?
can long
again?
rest once per 24 hours.
So we already can't long rest currently because we've only been away from camp for like an hour.
If you guys chose to long rest, I would be skipping to the next day.
So we might as
And-
well spend the day traveling, right?
And part of the argument to go back to town is that we could pick up other stuff while you brew the potions.
We could also run our errand of a small portion of our group running off with our carriage driver through the woods to the Menhir Stones, get her tuned.
Take
Alright,
too long.
hear me out. What if I stayed and brewed the potions?
Well, I mean, at that point, there wouldn't be reason for us to not also stay.
No, because you also need some additional weaponry now, and additional protection.
So today is the 5th. Yeah?
Mhm.
Correct.
If we travel today and get back to town, we wake up tomorrow on the 6th, having recuperated and probably bought stuff. If we spend a whole day traveling back to here, that puts us on the 7th. Where our quest bonus timeline expires on, is it the 10th?
Just gonna make sure. Just looking at my notes to make sure.
10 to 12, I thought.
It's the 10 to 12. I just need to make sure the actual date.
Oh, then we're fine. Then we can just travel back. I thought it was like the 7th. I thought we were
No.
that close to the timeline.
It was either 10 or 12.
Yeah, no, then we're fine. We have
Yeah.
ample time to go back to town and come back then.
Yeah, I just
Like
want to clarify whether it's 10 or 12 before we make solid plans real quick, you know?
Let's see
Yeah,
here.
that's
Quest, horror song,
smart.
quest giver, shoot, task, shoot, deadline of. Alright, is the 12th.
And honestly, we could probably get the alchemist to brew the potions as well. So we might get, like we could get the alchemist to use the essences, and then I can use the moonrod bulb if he lets me borrow his stuff.
All right, well, let's do that then. We'll travel back slowly until, I guess. So, should we just travel slowly until we reach the zombie horde, and then after we pass them, we just go medium? Assuming the horde is even still there.
I mean, honestly, like, this might be a bit too metagamey, but I think if we go fast, we can get to that before we trigger an encounter, right?
Perhaps.
I'm not sure if that's how it works, but
We just almost lost the carriage to a zombie horde, so Tarvis would caution against that, especially since we're traveling while he's still drained.
Yeah, but like the phrasing I used was
Yeah,
Fast
if
is
it's-
always a bad idea. We are never going fast. Never.
fast is never. That's not true.
It is never a good idea.
unfortunately, with how surprise rounds work and the fact that you have a character in your party who literally gets stunned on the first round of a surprise round, it's not great.
It's a bad idea. Even with the full party and all health, fast is a bad idea.
Oh, dear.
Uh-huh. You get stunned on round 1. Tarvis max initiative is 18.
They get a whole round to kick your ass. No.
Alright, I mean, the calculation works if we travel slow. We can just stick to it. Slow to the men here, and then normal.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
My suggestion was just we go slow until we get past the zombie horde, and then we can just go medium again. That was all I was thinking.
Yeah,
Up to you
See,
guys.
that
gone.
was
we're going back to town. That's the gist of it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you wish to travel slow till out of the area of the horde, and then medium?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think so.
All right. To the world map.
Also, personally, I don't have a version of traveling fast on the road back to Raslin because it's a road. But
Yeah, that didn't help.
When we got screwed when we moved fast was when we were in not that road. We were on the road towards the forest.
No, I almost died when we went fast on the road from the Minhero Stone to town.
That wasn't there, was it?
I remember very distinctly because I almost died.
Okay.
Zoom.
And from here, we would be looking at... Okay. So, you guys spend a few hours traveling slowly throughout the forest, and we will see if there's an encounter along the way, because that does have enough time for me to give one counter check. Oh boy! Here we go, kill it again, huh?
Oh my god.
What is this?
Would you guys like to roll Destiny to remove that counter chance?
What the?
100% counter chance. Let's go.
I accept my destiny. Let's go.
Destiny. Yeah, it's XP anyways.
All right.
So this is a really bad encounter.
No, it's just a negative encounter. The D100 just determines if it's a good or bad.
Really negative encounter.
All right, accepting your fate.
Again.
Okay, it's low.
Okay. Adds destiny to make it worse.
Well,
We did that once. It was great. We fought a boss.
yeah, they did. They
Oh,
fought
no.
a boss and cut the boss's arm off.
I wish to summon Dagon.
Oh my god.
All right, you accepting the 195?
Yeah.
All right. As you are riding along, who is driving the vehicle?
Still me, I think, unless someone else wanted to take the wheel.
Who is highest animal handling?
I'm co-piloting again.
I have a +3 to it.
Plus
and I'm
3 to
I don't
what?
think I have any.
Animal
honestly.
handling.
I don't have any.
Oh, then I'm driving.
Okay, more Ken who's driving, and I'm riding shotgun because I have really high dex.
All right. So, Morkag, as you are driving the carriage along the road, you don't quite notice it in time. At least, probably. I need you to roll me 2 skill checks. First off, a perception check to see if you can, in fact, notice it in time. Followed by an animal handling check, though preferably a vehicle check would be better.
I'm not proficient with a vehicle, unfortunately.
Yeah, so animal handling it would be. So, with a 17, unfortunately, you do not quite notice it in time. But as you are driving along, there is somewhat of an obscured large piece of rock hidden beneath the muck of the road due to the recent rainfall in the area. The rock itself was obscured to just look like part of the road. Didn't quite notice it in time. However, as you begin to drive closer and closer, your horse is beginning to trot around, and you can feel the rumble of the carriage moving along the road. And you'd hear a somewhat unfortunate snapping sound, which you realize is not your wheel, but some branches that you're roving over. And as you hear the sound, you notice the rock just in time to swerve out of the way to avoid the boulder that would have caused some serious damage to your carriage.
Oof.
Natural 20, hot damn.
Bandits.
That was just, it was just a natural event.
It was a rock.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's the druids. They're
Yeah.
against us.
If you guys failed the animal handling check, the wagon would have broken a wheel, so you guys would have to spend time repairing it. If you guys succeeded on the perception check, you would have had an advantage on the animal handling.
Oh.
Yeah. If you rolled a natural 1 on an animal handling check, then we'll have some conversation then. But we didn't need to do that, so it's fine.
Then the carriage flips.
No, the wagon flies 50 feet straight up, flips on its head, falls down.
With the silhouette of the moon as it does so.
Oh no.
Anyways, very good. You guys have passed the encounter as you guys arrive within the Menhir Stones. And is there anything you want to do here? Or do you wish to just take them and head up north?
Yeah, we're going north.
All right, wibbly wobbling to the north then. All right, just gonna scroll you guys on over there. You guys go teleporting from Rosevane Estate to the Menhir Stone up north. The Verdansk Menhir Stone. And at this point, you want to go medium pace still?
Yeah.
All right, just updating the timeline real quick for you guys' travel. All right. Already calculated the medium pace. I'm just gonna do that. Road border. You guys have covered the bandits. What is the number of encounters do I have to roll for this area? I think it's still just once per. Things through guns. Okay. No encounter check. Not enough time has passed for another one to be made due to the reduction of bandits in the area. So that's good. All right, but you guys.
Pretty good.
It's true. You guys do arrive at Razvan, given late evening. Still not nightfall yet, but late evening. You guys finally arrive back in your home village, or at least your new home village for now. I'll grab your tokens and plop you on that map. In the meantime, loading up the map for the stream purposes and gonna plop you down here. So that's an old token. Go to the Shadow Realm with you. All right. Control F and E. Grab the other things from over here, from your Rosevane Manor. Alright. No, that thing's not on the token layer. There we go. Alright. That's now fixed. And I can copy you guys' tokens, no problem. Copy. And then Razvan, pasta. Boop. Right. Entering into the streets of Razvan, you see that the city streets themselves are cold and dreary looking. There's a light drizzle coming throughout the area, and many of the people who would be normally out and about finishing up the day's work or heading to essentially, take it easy at the tavern. Many of them are rushing to get out of the rain. But there's a few friendly nods as your faces are becoming a bit more recognized in town. And here's the new ambience.
Who was it that actually asked us to take care of the bandits again, specifically?
That would be the good old keeper of the inn, Gregorovich. You know him as Gregory.
Mm-hmm. We can at least report that successfully, yeah.
Yeah, Casimir's gonna go to the inn.
Huzzah!
Thanks. Morga's gonna go to the alchemist shop.
Alright, you're heading to the alchemist, you're heading to the inn. Where is Zerai heading?
Feel bad after the whole hallucinating thing. So I think I'm gonna wait till tomorrow to do anything serious.
Alright, I'll have you
So I'm heading to the end
up to the inn.
with the others.
Very good, very good. Where is Danu heading?
Dana wants to shop.
Excellent shopping area.
Yes.
And Kane, where
Not
is
anything
Kane
in
heading?
particular. She's just gonna shop.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna poke around, find that Tarvlev guy.
All right, so you're going to be looking around town. So we're going to start with, I think the quickest one will probably be shopping, maybe. So we'll start with Dano. Dano, you are looking to shop. Yes. Well, you do see that the town square does have a few familiar faces, those that you traveled along the carriage with. There's also, of course, the town shops themselves, such as the smithy, the leatherworker, the alchemist shop. There's options around here. There's also a herbalist of sorts. Anything of catches your fancy. You of course have Kairos Bertan, the traveling merchant that you rode in with, as well as the jeweler dwarf, Kaz Kranor.
Ah, yes. Do we still have any of that leather from the we killed something we got leather from?
The Manticore?
The Manticore.
Yeah.
Do we still have?
I have it in my chest in my room.
Oh, you have it. Okay.
Well, if you want to sell it, I'm all for it. It's just,
No, she wasn't gonna sell it. She was gonna have them make a outfit out of it or something. But she's got this really nice sapphire. So she's gonna go to the jeweler.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gonna try to see if maybe the jeweler can make something real pretty out of the sapphire. Maybe something, I don't know. Oh,
Diadem?
we'll see. A pretty
Choker?
maybe a choker, maybe. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe some sort of jewelry or accessory of some sort.
All right. Well, approaching the nearby stall, you would find Kaz Kranor, the mason and jeweler who has set up shop here in town, though temporarily, as you can see, it's simply just a stall, as well as his servant, Ori Thakim, two dwarfs that you traveled with. Asking about the gem, though, about perhaps some jewelry you can make from it.
I can certainly make you a choker or a bracelet, an amulet or a diadem, even just what suits your fancy at the moment. I can see you properly with I'd say with your attire, a choker or perhaps a diadem could work quite nicely, but really, whatever works for you. And obviously you're providing the gem, the focal piece for this. Is there anything else you're wanting to be part of the piece? Any particular metal you're wanting for it? Any additional gems?
I prefer. Do you have white gold or silver?
Oh, I certainly have silver, no problem there. As for white gold, well, I do have some left in stock, bit on the pricier side, but I do have some.
Well, I'm kind of attached to my current necklace. Perhaps something for my hair?
Certainly can provide such fine embellishments. A hair.
I actually can't think of the word for it.
Barrette or
well,
hairpin?
A hairpin would be the one you'd be talking of.
A particular hairpin can work for this. Allow it to be tied in fine and intricate braids or buns of the like. Or a clasp, as you can see, as he kind of
Shows off his beard clasps.
It'd also work if it suits your fancy for more of a higher rising ponytail of sorts.
She leans in closer and looks at his beard and admires the beard. Is it fine work?
It is fine work, yes. It is expertly done.
Okay. I think a pin would be nice. Could I hire you to make me a pin out of the sapphire?
Of course. No problem there. And are you wanting the sapphire cut for it first, or you would like it in all of its glory, of course polished, but full-sized as best can be.
I'd vote keep it intact.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of neat. Yeah, keep it intact.
Very well. All right, and what material you'll be wanting for it then?
Silver.
Silver. Excellent.
All right. And let me go grab that gem for purposes of me copy pasting the item for you.
And
Now for the out of character stuff as he goes into more finer details. Are you wanting this to be of higher quality? Or are you wanting it just because you want something pretty? Are you wanting it to be magical in nature? What are you wanting from it?
Highest quality he could do. If it's magical, that would be neat.
All right. Let's see here. I'm just trying to find that sapphire I sent you so I can put it into the. There it is. Okay. It is the 518 gold sapphire, right? The 7 carat one. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's the big sapphire.
All right. Sapphire. And there we go. Time to create would be this and this. Base DC is that. And the highest DC he can hit would be... Going to look at this for him real quick. Let's see. I believe he needs to be a master to make masterpiece, which he can do, I believe. Let me go actually make sure. NPCs.
Oh my god, that name! I was like, what was his name again? I scrolled over and I was like, oh my god, that name!
The dwarfs have quite the long name, my setting.
What would be the abbreviation? Like, what would
Kaz, maybe?
Kaz?
Well, Kaz is his caste. That is the prefix to indicate his caste. Kranor is his actual name. So,
okay, Kranor.
In common tongue, people might call him Crane, just for simplicity, but some dwarves are very stubborn, so they kind of insist you call him by the full name. Some are just like, Kranor is fine. Yeah. For the most part, the names themselves are provided as the best I can do for the common tongue translation. Because since he is a stone dwarf, his name is actually probably about another... Let me just calculate how many he has.
Don't they like tell his entire family's history?
It's pretty long.
Yeah.
Yeah. For example, one stone dwarf's name might be Lord Ilgrim Stonehammer, one who broke the mountain with his fist so that he could then build a humble home for his family that produced many children and great heirs, and, goes on and on and on for, sentences of a name. Stone dwarfs are crazy. But for the common folk, they call him, you can call me Kranor. It's simple. It works for you surface folks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did not call him his full name that whole
Exactly.
journey. We just not gonna happen.
Yeah, most surface dwarfs do not require it. If you go into a dwarven citadel, you're probably gonna get some stuffy people. Anyways, he can hit a decent quality piece. Depends on how much you're willing to spend on this, so I need to know your budget.
Let me see. My budget is 300 gold.
That rules out the highest he can do. All right. And let's see here.
Sort of supplying the most expensive part.
All right, removing the most expensive part so I can tell you the actual price for this item. Since you have a most expensive being 300 gold, unless you want a really simple magical enchantment, it's going to be probably over your budget.
Okay.
So.
Well, yeah. Just make it pretty for right now. This one's a pretty piece of jewelry, so, yeah.
Not a problem, not a problem. And, with the fine craftsmanship, you'll be able to get it enchanted or runic inscribed at a later date.
Fantastic.
But for this particular piece, you'll be looking at 180 gold for time and effort, and I can have it finished by end of day.
Oh. Well, that sounds like a. Do I want to try to haggle?
Sorry, just to interrupt briefly. We do have stuff to sell, so you could potentially get more gold if you wanted.
Yeah. Well, she's doing this for herself, and she this is a gym she took as compensation for finding all the other ones. She'll wait to get it, like turn it into a magic item.
That's also awfully quick, and he's not cutting the gem.
Yeah.
You could look at gem cuts and maybe have him cut the gem, which could add value to it. I dropped you a thing about gem cuts if you want to take a look at it.
Oh,
If you
yeah?
cut a pretty gem.
It's in the
it
Discord.
just doesn't look right. But you are asking a woman's opinion, so that's out of character. If you ask me, it doesn't look right.
Wait, where did you...
It's in general
where?
chat.
It's in the... Is it? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, not the other general chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just an example of some of the basic things that,
And right now, what you're looking at is essentially something like that. Just a nice, pretty blue gem, but it could look better if it's cut, which is why I asked.
Yeah, but it's... You know...
Oh, it's not a cut gem.
No, it's a raw sapphire.
Yeah, it's a raw...
Oh.
I kind of
Then,
wanted
yeah,
to keep
it should
it.
be cut.
I kind of wanted to keep it raw, but honestly, this drop would be kind of perfect. So, because it's, for God or patron. Yeah, okay, let's go with the drop, like, cut that, in the thing. There's a whole lot more. Yeah.
Yeah, I just googled gem cuts. There's a bunch of them, but you can see they've got different names and stuff, and there's basic ones, and there's really complicated ones. And,
It's true.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then
how
some of
far down
them
the rabbit hole do you want to go is what,
yeah, some of them you can do with some stones, some of them you can do with other stones. Yeah, they're not like universal.
All right.
Well, with the cut, I'll take a bit of extra time and work, but it is within your budget, albeit at the tighter end of things. Run you 293 gold.
You're
I mean,
going to get paid pretty quickly.
she's gonna look at her fingernails for a moment and kind of inspect them and like, I mean, I could do it myself. And she kind of sighs. Could you perhaps, if I give you a little bit of a hand, I don't have much to do for a while, lower that a little bit?
Roll me persuasion.
Would he... Whenever I do, like, charismatic stuff, like talking to somebody, like, I have this want to do guidance, but I feel like doing guidance interrupts the whole flow of the conversation.
It does. In fact, if you do that in certain situations, I might actually be bad.
Yeah, but you know what? Okay.
All right.
Well, Yeah, you helped me out getting here and all that. Sure, we can knock some off that there price for you. Let's see here. What say you to 235 gold for it then?
Deal. 235.
Right. Well, won't take long to get to work on this, and perhaps you can pick up a few pointers for your own craft, seeing as you are holding at least some interest in the art.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
All right.
That's what Danu's going to be doing.
Excellent. Now, while you're doing that, I will add back the price of your gem to this, so I can give you the end worth of your item, and then we can go to the next little section, which your gem was valued at. I completely forgot what I said it was. And we go back to your item lab, 518. Cool. All right. Just gonna go copy something real quick and give you guys that thing. Oh yeah. Copy. Danu's. Get rid of all that because it doesn't matter. Superior quality. 3 points. Max tier 2. And that was increased by how much, right? I believe so. Just doing quick math in my head. Almost done. Times 8. Okay, thought so.
Mhm.
That'd be 64. Boop. Alright. Now I need to add the price to this. The price for your item is now... You've turned your 518 gem sapphire to a 1,250 gold piece item. Unmagical. And it also has superior quality, so you can apply up to 3 points worth of qualities to it. From the equipment guide, you can find those. Alright. And while that is going on, as part of your downtime, since you offer to help, Kaz Kranor is, at least, very least, an expert in the field of jewelry making. So you could attempt to use training to boost your proficiency in jewelry making to expert, if you'd like to go that route.
Oh shit.
You're not going to be able to finish the full training in just a day of work, but you could start it now if you'd like to.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Alright. Gonna mark that off then that you've completed 1 day of jewelry craft training. Alright. Boop. Alright. There we go. From there, the next person we shall look towards will be... There's 2 going to the tavern. Let's go to the tavern. Or 3, I think. Yeah, because you dragged yourself into the interior. That's right. Alright. Casimir, Tarvis, and Zorai, you 3 make your way into the tavern. Finding that the tavern itself is somewhat bustling right now. It is, after all, evening's meal. And you would find that, well, Gregory is currently manning the bar, as is tradition.
Well, seeing as Tarvis is getting here before Morkag for the first time,
What?
he's going to walk up and say to Gregory, "Let me get the big room."
I already have the big room.
Oh,
It's
is it
already
already?
mine.
It was rented
Sorry,
for,
book.
for weeks.
Yeah.
Ah.
What the hell are you talking about? Of course I
Damn.
rented it for a week in advance.
Let me go look at his notes real quick.
I'm afraid, the suite is currently still booked by your companion, the masked one.
Well, we'll give you the next biggest one.
Of course. Let's see here. Next biggest one would be this room here.
As a large person, Tarvis knows that when he gets to a town, the first thing he does is to secure the biggest room, or he's going to be uncomfortable for the entire stay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how long you wanting to stay in the new chamber? You, of course, have a discount due to you already having room here. The upgrade to a suite.
Well, perhaps you'd be willing to offer more of a discount considering we've dealt with your bandit problem.
Have you now? That's wondrous news.
Indeed, we've actually returned from Undar just now.
Well, excellent. In that case, don't worry about the room's fee. Call it a thank you gift added on to the actual reward. I'll set you up though in the. And I'll pass a key along and, tell you the directions to get to the suite.
So you now have access to the chamber up here.
Okay.
Yeah. All
That'll
Morkak
work.
has this, so.
Yeah. That. I mean,
Alright.
Tarvis is 8'3", so yeah, he's looking for the biggest bed.
It's true. All right.
But if you are back from your venture, best to
Merely a pit stop. We needed some more items.
you're working on the other aspect of it then.
Yes, we are, sir.
Perhaps we can speak more in a more private setting.
When the others get here, that might be wise.
Right. Well, when the others get here, he'll tell you the directions to the same room that you met with him before. Meet me with you there. I'll be sure to have your reward ready as well.
Very good. If that is the case, then I'm going to head out again. I've got some bookkeeping to take care of, as it were.
Very good.
Casimir
Well, I'll
goes
have
to
a pint.
Casimir goes to become the town or the party vendor and sell all this shit.
Of course.
And he'll start pouring you a pint.
And some dinner.
Some fresh
And
meal
that's-
right away.
Once Grigori goes away, I'm gonna whisper to him. Have we decided what we're gonna say? Like, how much of the truth is good and how much of it is bad?
I hadn't really thought about it. I'm sure the others have a plan. We'll talk to them about it.
That I don't have the slightest clue. I would just tell the truth.
I say we don't worry about it and enjoy a pint for now. I'm tired.
Alright, Terrace. I'm tired too. It's pretty awful seeing mouths on walls and urges to drink embalming fluid. And... yeah, that sucked. I imagine yours is even worse.
But we're alive, so here we are.
All right. As you enjoy your meals as they are brought to you, as well as the pint of ale as ordered, they're still part of the free meals, and well, he's certainly providing you for ale. He doesn't seem to ask for coinage from it, as he provides you your drink and your meal. Is there anything else you guys are wanting to do within the tavern before proceeding onwards?
Not in particular. Tarvis is going to be friendly to the other patrons and, probably get drunk.
Excellent. All right. In that case, let's see. Casimir's is going shopping, so I'm just going to shucky duck you over there. And you're heading to the Alchemist, Morkag.
That's right.
Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Making sure I'm not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I might have to use Map Explorer. I lost one of you.
I moved north.
There you are.
Over.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, cool. I feel like yours is probably going to be the next quickest, Kane, so we're going to do yours first, just in case. Because if you roll low, you're kind of at a dead standstill for a little bit. So let's see what happens as you begin to ask around about a Lord Tarliv. Give me a gossip check.
Would from any maps of the town or anything, I just know the Tarliv Manor is clearly right here now.
Do you have map of town?
Do we? I don't think we do. I'll roll,
Search.
I'm gonna do a little bit of that.
Here. Actually, let me search in Item Lab specifically to see if I gave you guys a map of the town. In Item Lab. Map. I have given you a map of the Noctis Woods. And another map that is not related. So, unfortunately, no, you don't have a map of the town.
Okay. Then I will do little thing. I will pop charm to give myself advantage as I go around for an hour asking, and I will roll with my gossip.
Excellent. Rip-a-roni. Alright, as you're asking around town, it's... a lot of people, they're not very conversationalist. They're just like, hey, north side of town. They're not really too chatty at the moment due to the drizzle of rain and them just trying to go about their business before they get completely drenched. You do have enough knowledge that it's on the north side of town, and being a lord, it's likely some form of manor house, so with that knowledge, it's easy enough to determine that it's one of, I would say 3 buildings, but one of them's the alderman's manor, so it is one of 2 buildings. The one here that you can now see, as well as the building across the way from it.
Across the way from it? Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's 2 potential options. Ignoring the fact that, Lord Tarliv is token outside of his actual house.
Yeah, just ignoring that,
Just ignore that, it's fine.
So Kane will just stroll through the area looking for any signs on any of the houses that may or may not label them as what he's looking for.
Alright. As you begin to look around the area, you do seem to find that these 2 houses do bear symbols upon them indicating that they are of higher station. Do you have Thief's Cant?
I do not know.
Alright. Well, there's some, chicken scratch on one of the buildings. This one specifically. You don't really know what it means. Just looks like some scratches, like a cat scratched up the post.
Would lore spies help me recognize anything or no?
Lore and spies would... roll me a lore check.
Lore check? Okay,
Intelligence plus proficiency.
Okay. Which RD20 plus... That would be, I think that's 6. I'm double checking real quick. Yes, okay.
$23. Alright. With the 23, you are able to recognize the chicken scratch as not just some scratching mark that a cat made upon a post, but it is in fact a language that a thief's can't.
But I have no clue what it says.
Correct.
For some reason, thieves marked this house. And which would take it to be the one on the right?
There's no mark upon the people on the left, but the thief's cant mark is on the right.
Okay.
And as you're drawing closer, you would see that the house on the right does seem to have some stained glass windows in its front facing that appear to be one. I mean, stained glass itself is quite expensive, so a house having this is notable, so it's a likely contender. The other one does have glass windows, so I mean they are some form of higher class, but not stained glass.
And all of the houses, like, so from what I know, there are 4 houses with similar crests to Istrati.
Correct.
And assuming they're all higher nobility, I would assume the rich folks' house could potentially be what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then again, I mean, they're both richer houses, so... I duck into an alley, cast invisibility, and just kind of hop through windows and shit.
Alright, give me a perception check.
Okay.
And a stealth.
Ooh. Stealth at advantage. Ooh. Perception check. Ooh.
Alright. As you begin to search through the windows of the estate, looking beyond them, most of them are curtained, drawn, and not really providing much, but you do hear some movement from within. And as you begin to kind of circle the manor house, looking for which window that might actually allow you to see through it, you would find one such window that the curtains are open, revealing that, well, there's a few figures inside in what appears to be a study. You can see that there is one figure, broad of shouldered, quite tall, smooth, well-polished skin, seemingly clothes, sleek black hair, a large, well-trimmed mustache beard combination, and you can see that he is most certainly in fanciful clothing. Another thing that you would notice is that in this chamber, the well-dressed man is currently looking up and nodding. Another figure who is in not as well-dressed attire, but is certainly in some form of formal wear, and is currently speaking to the one upon the plush chair. Do not know what they're saying, though.
Looking around the room itself from the outside, is there anything of note?
You would
Just general study, any open books?
Yeah, you would see that the lord upon the chair is reading a book. You can't actually make out what it is, but he is reading a book, and upon the shelf behind him, you would see that there is one book missing from the shelf, and many of the books upon that shelf themselves appear to be dealing with laws and punishments, crimes, and the like of the region, as well as, from what you can see, noble lineages, lines, and properties.
Is the Tarla family known for anything?
Give me a history check.
Okay.
You have lore and something that would be appropriate.
Brusian courts, Brusian...
Yeah, Brusian courts wouldn't provide you this specifically. It's a little too broad for that particular bonus. With a 13... No, you're not quite sure.
Alright, I'll need somebody else to go in there to poke further later. And then I, for sake of, while invisibility still lasts, check out the other house.
Alright.
I'll do that for you.
The other house seems to be of a similarly higher station than most of the other houses in town. Nowhere near as fanciful as the one you saw the Lord in. But you can see that there are at least one servant who is currently cooking some form of dinner within. And you can see from the dining room chamber, which has also had the windows opened, or the curtains open, revealing inside, there is currently a family of 3 sitting at a table preparing to eat, as they are being sent yet another course of food.
Mm-hmm. All right.
What are you doing?
I got 2 houses to work with and 1 person who can probably go through them. I believe that's successful scouting.
All right. And from there, we go to the alchemist. What are the interiors of this building? Did I ever make the interiors for this building? Freaking banana. I know I forgot something. I'm gonna just go real quick and to-do log. To do. Make interiors of alchemist shop you banana. There we go. Alright, now remind me to do the interiors for combat map purposes, in case it's required. I have the layout though, so you would see that the doorway, as previously mentioned when you were in here before, it does open up directly into his shop. It's quite a filled shop. It is, just filled with shelves of bottles, of reagents, of hanging herbs and reagents. It's all sorts of underwork. But you would see Victor in the back corner currently working a station, an alchemist's lab, and he seems to be grinding some form of paste in a mortar.
What is he doing? Well, Malkin is a creeper, so he's just gonna watch and say nothing.
Alright. Let me just go and check this real quick. Roll me a stealth check.
Can I help you?
Yes.
I'll turn from what he's doing.
May I get closer? Or will you come to me? I don't know, like, what the dividend is. I feel like I'm walking into the kitchen of someone cooking, you know?
It's fine. What can I help with? Another ailment? Perhaps you're needing a new potion of healing or the like for your venture?
It is complex, so I'll start at the beginning.
Right.
We're tasked to deal with the manor that's to the south. Within that manor, we found to deal with several undead. Undead that have the ability to drain physical and mental aptitudes, which is why we're here. We have the ingredients to make up potions, but I felt it wiser to come here and maybe have you make it against the abilities of the undead that can drain physical and mental.
They're wishing for me to put up for you a reagent or a tincture of vigor restoration from this reagent you're bringing to me.
Yes, and also I was wondering if I could watch as you do it. I am able to make alchemical textures, but not very fast. But
Well, I worked better alone, but as long as you're quiet, I don't see any issue with you watching.
I can be quite quiet.
Let's see here.
And he's gonna take out the blood root that we got, and he's gonna, hand them over. The moonrod bulb.
All right. So you're handing over a single dose of Moonrod Bulb for a tincture, or more than that?
Let's start with. Honestly, I feel like I should use the rest as payments. How long would it take to make a batch?
Is this a rush job or a I can handle it at a standard pace?
Let's say standard. How long would it take for you?
Let's see. Let's see here. And what's my bonus for my particular shop? There's my shop. Alright. Considers me as that much higher for having that, and I have that bonus, so... And... I can have it made by morning.
Not fast. In that case, 2 batches. We'll take the first one, and then if you keep going. Yeah.
So you wish to take the first one upon the morrow and the second one the evening after?
Yes, I'll have to discuss it with the rest. But for now, let's start with the one.
Right, let's
How
see
much?
here.
How much would it cost?
Scroll on down and get you that information. That would be one. I can make a batch for you for... That is the proper... Okay, cool. Just making sure the value is what I'm looking for. I can make a batch for you for 160 gold.
Arrange payment. Could I have a receipt?
Sure.
Oh, wait, I'll split it.
Right. Yeah. You will walk over to a small desk, pull out some pieces of parchment, and start writing down one name.
Yes. We also have other reagents here. And he's gonna share the chamomile leaf juice, the lavender petal pulp, and the hibiscus fruit sap. If that could pay parts of it.
Well, certainly willing to buy these reagents from you. Let's see here. Grabbing the prices that he would offer for those. 1 second. Let's see. Hibiscus fruit sap, poor common. I'll 25 silver for each root sap var you have. 2.5 gold. Lavender petal pulps. I'll get those for a 25 copper a pop, as is the same for the chamomile leaf juice. So 2.5 silver for both lavender petal pulp and chamomile leaf juice per dose. 2.5 gold per hibiscus root sap.
If you could kindly deduct that from the 116, that would be appreciated.
Right, no problem. You're buying, selling all of them, or?
Yes.
Alright. Alright, that's 4.5 for that one. And then we have these ones, which are...
It's 7.5, 1.25, and 4.5.
Thank you.
I filled up the sheet as you read them off.
There you go. Alright. That makes it simple. And then... You have the map already, or do you want me to give you the number?
I don't have the number.
146.75. 146 gold, 7 silver, 5 copper.
Nice. So that's divided by.
And that would be per moonrod bulb that you're wanting to have made. Or for the first one, the second one would be 160. So.
And we get
6.
6 potions per?
It'd be
Yeah.
6 potions per, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, 6 should be enough if it's only one individual that gets drained. We might need 12 though, in case. We can make them pretty fast.
I think 6 should be fine. But you never know. So the problem is we have to wait for a second batch, so
It will be evening tomorrow. So it's still much faster than, waiting that 48 hours before.
Alright.
But after the first batch, Morkek will approach the rest of the party.
And, anything else you were wanting to do at the alchemist shop?
Let's see. I had some questions. Since we're out venturing out to the south, I know you gave us a map with some of the interesting tinctures and stuff that we could argue, we could gather. But is there anything specific that you need?
It is something that could be helpful for my patients.
Let's see.
Now, the specific bulb is known as a hangman's bulb. You can find it around certain trees, found within graveyards or places of death. Somewhat rare, but certainly be quite helpful for my own endeavors. Now I know that there is a graveyard within the nook that's not too far from here. It's likely there is such a bulb there, but if you cannot acquire this hangman's bulb, there is an alternate. You can acquire me any reagent or herb that seems to have an essence of death to it. Preferably one that has a shift in its ways, both a yin and a yang, if you will, both death and life.
Now, how much would you be willing to pay for that?
Depending on the quality, I would be looking for one of at least, shall we say in game terms, superior quality. But I would be willing to pay full price, market price for it.
Understandable. May I... Actually, It's a shame cell phones aren't a thing. Because I'd be texting right now.
I'm glad cell phones aren't a thing.
But, Moke is gonna make a decision. You mean something like this? And he shows one of the essence of unlife.
Yes, well, sort of. That general essence, yes, but needs to be stronger. I'd be willing to buy these off of you, but
Excellent is below superior?
excellence below superior, yeah. It goes
Darn it.
poor, fine, excellent, superior, masterpiece, legacy, and then artifact. And below poor is mundane.
Yeah, I was like, where's mundane? Alright, I mean, I don't think we can use it really essence of unlife.
Well, it will certainly help in my patient's care, but for their sickness to really be cured, so to speak, I need one of stronger quality. At least have a breakthrough.
I might be able to find one where we're investigating. So for how much for 1 essence? Would you be willing to buy it for?
1 essence. Let's see here. I have it set to a major rare. Let's check again. Excellent, rare. Okay,
Excellent.
it's excellent rare.
It's a
Okay.
rare.
I'll be willing to buy one off you for 95 gold.
Oh. Well, good on you. We have 3.
If you're willing to sell them all, I'll buy them all.
3, so that's 285.
Hmm.
So that means that pays for the first tincture and part of the second tincture. Oh no, but let's keep it simple. Let's see. So that's 285. So 146, 175. That's all right, so he pays us 138 gold, 2 silver, and 5 coppers. And that handles the first tincture. The first batch.
So, just to confirm, you used all the hibiscus, lavender, chamomile, and essence of unlife?
Yeah, all the hibiscus root sap, the lavender, the chamomile.
And only 2 moonrod bulbs.
2 moonron bulbs. Everything else was sold of those 5 reagents.
Okay, I'm
Yes.
just updating the sheet.
So, so that leaves out 138 gold, 2 silver, and 5 copper. If we don't pay for the second patch yet. Yeah. Because again, we should probably discuss that in character. Unless you guys want the second batch now, we can just hand wave the discussion.
No, I think 1 batch should be fine.
All right. What does everyone else think? 6 potions to combat the drain enough for the rest of the catacombs?
Probably.
Because right now it's 1-1 because I want the other thing, the other batch. Hello?
Hello.
You guys want the second batch as well?
I think the first one's fine.
Part of me is like 6 potions might be enough to get us through the rest. Extras won't be bad for further uses, but if we run into life drain later that is of a different origin or a different effect, we might not be able to cure it with the same potion.
Alright then. We'll just take the first batch. And we got 138 at 25 GP
Very well.
gained.
I'll remove the second batch listing.
I'll just let you divide that.
You have been given some coin, and on the morrow, the potion, the set of 6 tinctures will be provided for you.
Alright, and I get to help him out, right?
Yeah, you get to watch him.
I want him to teach me.
Unfortunately, he is not willing to teach you at this point in time.
What the fuck, man?
He
Fine.
did said he prefers working alone.
I'll just be super relevant and stealthy.
Mm-hmm.
So you want me to do a stealth check and a perception check?
Yeah, give me both.
Alright, here's my stealth. Here's my perception.
Alright. While you do maintain your silent observation of his work, unfortunately he works way too fast for you to keep an eye on what he's actually doing to gain any real progress. But, perhaps if you do it again.
You tried.
Mm-hmm. You did try. Alright. And as that is going on, time does pass. Is there anything else anyone else wants to do?
Like I said, Casimir's just selling stuff listed in chat. I'm updating the gold split based on more keg sales, but
What's the gold split after that?
I'm still calculating. One
Oh,
second.
okay.
I'm trying to make it a whole number and just putting the excess in the shared pool.
Yeah. All right. In that case, if there's nothing else you guys wanted to do, the day's events go by otherwise uneventfully. No problem here or there. And
Would it
you
be
guys
working
can
throughout the
achieve a
night?
long rest, no problem.
Would it be working throughout the night?
You didn't ask for a rush job, so no.
Okay, good. All right, so after I get back, I'm gonna talk to the innkeeper real quick.
All right.
It's not really meta, but Mark, I would pay
Shucky.
attention to this.
Ducky.
It did remind me the player.
Hey, look, you find a drunk Tarvis in the end.
Oh dear. So no.
Okay, real quick. Everyone receives 175 gold pieces, and the shared pool gets an additional 4.5.
175.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, instead of the okay, good. He's gonna ask. You were informed of the good news, yes?
Aye.
How long do I have on my room still?
Well, consider it available to you for the next month, at least.
Really?
Considering your rooms waived as a thank you for helping with the bandits, in addition to the pay, which we can discuss when the full party is prepared to discuss the events.
Oh, we haven't got. Okay. Okay, good. Right then. I'll check the other two. Are they all right? The Tarvis is drunk. I know Zerai got really drunk last time.
Morkag, why are you so busy? Sit, relax, and have a pint.
No time for that. Oh, actually, there is time, but we're not in Dodge. Are the rest okay? Zerai? Kane?
Well, how is Zerai feeling after their particular conversation with Tarvis and perhaps some drinks and food with them? Are they cronk and dizzy after some time spending time within the tavern, or are they doing something else? It's a pinned in Item Lab. Vegan? I'm going to say that she is AFK.
Okay.
So,
Well,
I just got a text somebody real quick because he just tried calling me.
Were you talking to me?
No, I was asking.
Okay, I was like, I didn't hear Danu.
No, I said
She's learning jewelry making.
it's true.
all right then. In that case, yeah, Marco will just retreat to his room and rest.
Yeah. There's nothing else going on though. Your long rest goes by uneventfully, and morning rises with you guys having spent the day, enjoying your time in your downtime in town.
And we're also going to go meet with the bartender.
I was going to say, at some point, Kane would like to try to meet with Morkag.
I mean, it would have been the right
But
time.
people keep
right then and
texting
there.
me and shit.
Right then and there. All right. Well, since you're being texted, I will give the other option once again. Would
Sorry.
you like to do this? If so, we can drag Morkag's happy face back down to that table.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Sorry
look,
about
Morkag's
that.
back down to the table. No problem.
I try to pay attention, but everybody's like, hey, I need your attention.
It's all good. Hey, look, Morkag, it's Kane. And hey, look, Kane, it's a Morkag. And hey, look, suddenly, Casimir is in the tavern.
Oh, hey, convenient. We're almost all here.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Morkag, we need to go talk about something somewhere.
Sure.
Anywhere you prefer nice and private, or?
Yeah, let's go to my room.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. There you go. You'd enter into the third story of the most fanciful inn, finding that the suite is, well, in fact, a suite. It is well furbished. It is higher quality than the rest of the inn's rooms here, and is plenty of room to, well, I mean, essentially it's its own studio apartment. But
It's big, it's fancy, and didn't you board up the windows?
he did.
I did,
Yeah.
except for this one.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk here. I already inspected the room.
Interesting room. So I did a little digging, looked around. I think I found one of two places that could be Tarlev's estate if we wanted to try to pick him up before we head back to the manor.
You mean capture him?
Yes.
In
If we
his-
want to appease Rosevane, yes.
Oh, well. If that's what everyone is set on, sure. I'll need some manacles and a way to prevent him from screaming. Does he live by himself?
That's why I'm talking to you. I would need you to actually go scout out these locations because I am unable to do so.
Oh, well, you do have your magic to make me invisible. That'll make things much easier.
Yeah, alone I'd get as far as getting into the building, but I might tip somebody off that I'm there. And with are the extra guards still around?
There is certainly still a presence of guards in town.
With the elevated guard presence, I'd rather not get myself shackled for trespassing in the house of the guy we kind of need to kidnap.
Right. Let's see. There's a couple of options. But yes, I'll have to scout. Do you have the means to make me scale walls without needing a rope?
Unfortunately, no.
That'll make things easier.
I can, if he isn't particularly competitive, I can put him out myself. But I won't be able to retrieve him.
Right. Well, we can do this at night. Is it night now?
You guys arrived early, like out of character. You guys arrived about 5:50 p.m.
Okay.
You guys have spent some time going about town, so it's probably a bit more like 6, more likely to be 7, just due to all the going backs and forths and whatnot. So it is at this point in time sun setting or just barely hitting night.
And if we had a short rest in between now and then, by us just lounging around, I can get a couple casts of visibility going.
I mean, you definitely did. Your event before heading to tavern wasn't very long. Yeah, Morcag would have just barely have left the alchemy shop at this point.
I already pressed the button, but I only had a couple.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna use my maneuvers or stamina for this, so it's fine. I'll just put myself back down. I think I had 40 HP.
I do have ways of making him unseen. I can cast invisibility on him as well to make him a little easier to move. Maybe we can go find our carriage driver, get the horse.
Well, I'll need to scout first. We need to find out where he sleeps. If he sleeps. There's also poison we can use to make sure he doesn't wake. Although I'm not well versed in poisons.
Oh, I can brew poisons. If you think you can, if you know the recipe for something that can knock him out, I can particularly brew it for you.
One of my lords will give me that info, right? Like I got a couple of smugglers here. Well, actually, it depends on how they smuggle, though. If they're like,
what are you wanting to do specifically?
I guess a poison that would make them easy to move about, like maybe a paralytic or a knockout gas.
You could roll me a nature check for this.
Oh, I have nature. Thinky hard. Oh, maybe not.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll roll an each check as well. Rack my brain while we're talking about it. Oh, hey.
What are your
Okay.
lures?
My lures are has nothing to do with that. So, well, I guess spies. If there might be, some common spycraft.
Your
Not
lures
compete
are
well,
exceedingly broad, so
Mhm.
spies would potentially have something of this nature. The benefit wouldn't really change the effect of what you're getting right now. I'm just saying if I can lower it by 5 or more, which I cannot with your lures. Because you already had enough to know that, I mean, the most common source of poison that would work here would be the depths poison. It is a fairly common poison to the depths below, essentially my version of the Underdark. Out of character, it's trap poison.
Mhm.
That would be the most common source of poison that one could acquire that could do what you're looking for. Depth poison, however, is injury, so there is some issue there. If you're wanting one that is not injury based, depends on what you're actually wanting then.
Right. So, which house is it?
Kane will get up, walk out to the window. I'll desnap myself in grid. Hold on. He points off, scrolling out northeast of the tavern. Those two larger estates. The one on the left is less fanciful. The one on the right is clearly owned by a richer individual. I did notice some markings on the side. Looks like thieves marked it for something, but I can't decipher what that could potentially mean.
Alright then. I can do this now too.
Mm-hmm.
Getting there, scouting around. Shouldn't take me more than an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Alright then, do your magic.
If you want me to use my magic on you now, or I could accompany you to the neighborhood and just go kind of sulk about for a bit.
No, that's fine. You're my alibi. Cast your magic, make sure you lock the door when you step out,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and then nobody will see me come out. They'll assume I'm in the room. You know, typical alibi stuff.
That's fair. That's fair. So I would have a short rest, one last cast of magic. So invisibility.
All right.
Wait, I'm invisible.
Ah.
And I get up.
And Kane will go lock the door and preoccupy himself, sitting here reading one of his many tomes.
Very good, very good. All right, you are
Can I
invisible.
Can I, in the meantime, attempt to further look into that one necromantic tome that people don't want me to have?
People don't have a huh?
Remember that
by
necromantic...
people?
The
huh?
one that
Oh,
you... Okay,
yeah.
the one that they don't want you... Yeah, okay. I know the one you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
We can't
The
read it
spell book
because
that's out of my league.
we can't read it because of the invisible ink that I forgot about until somebody mentioned it in the chat. It was like, oh fuck, that's what I needed
That's
to
a different one.
about.
That's a different one. No, the spell book that's out of my league.
Well, you can give me an Arcana check.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still pretty complicated. You're gonna have to spend a lot of time to go through this.
Mm-hmm.
You're making some progress. You're starting to understand some of the words and what they might mean, but it's a complicated book, I'm afraid.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Whatever maniac wrote this.
Mm. All right. And as you are reading through the book, off on the streets of Razvin, our invisible companion Morkag will skulk through them, rain, revealing perhaps there is someone, in fact, in the area, as there is some weird early sploshes and splashes upon unseen shoulders. But you do see the large three-storied manor before you.
Do I see the guy there?
No, he's just there, so I know that's his house.
Oh, okay. He mentioned marks, so I'm gonna.
All right. Roll me a perception check. You can also do an investigation.
Is a perception.
All right. Looking over at the marks, you would notice, one, you would find them, but you would notice that there's something interesting about them. They are not a mark as one would expect to be found upon a noble's estate. One of, like, good loot here, or, high security here, or something like that, but of... I think the best way to put it would be, don't fuck with them in Thieves' Cant.
Oh. You recognize the handwriting?
Yeah.
Could it be my... Okay. Well. That never stopped me before. Alright, let's see. So there's a window here, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna speak in. Do I see anybody?
That window is curtained.
Gotcha. Alright, let's do a quick round of the perimeter then.
Alright. Running the perimeter, you would find that there is one window that is not curtained, and that leads into the study.
This one?
Yes.
Oh, is there anyone in there?
You would see that there is one figure. A well-dressed man, pristine skin, sleek black hair, a well-trimmed mustache-beard combination. Finely dressed attire, sitting upon a chair, currently reading a book.
Wait, so there's someone in here. Let's go around still. This is just a scouting mission, so it's fine. No more windows. What's this door?
You'd see that there does appear to be a servant's entrance back in the external section of the building.
Oh. And this?
That's a different house.
Oh, different house. Okay, gotcha. Right, so I'm just gonna check here. Is there another window here, or?
That's not a window, but this one is.
Oh, okay.
And that one is also
Is that-
curtained.
Gotcha. I am invisible, so let's try the servant's quarter door. I'm gonna investigate it, see if it's, trapped or...
Alright, roll me investigation.
Let's get in here. Investigation.
With a 24, looking over the servant's entrance inside, doesn't appear to be trapped. You can tell that there is a simple lock upon it, but it's not locked.
Alright, let's carefully unlock it.
It's not locked. There is a
I'm
locking...
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Open it?
Unhinge it. Open it.
Gotcha, okay.
Let me just slightly open it.
Roll me a
so I
sleight of
can
hand check.
Peek inside. Sort of it. Consistency.
Alright. Door opens, nary a sound made.
As I peek through, do I notice anybody?
You would not notice anyone inside this chamber, though there is a faint light source coming from within, and you can see that it opens up into what appears to be a laundry room. There's plenty of wash basins, some drying racks within the area, and appears to be some form of warm, glowing crystal that seems to give off faint heat near the drying racks.
I'm gonna gently close the door, and I am gonna draw. And I am gonna dry myself because no doubt the water isn't invisible. And I'm gonna wipe the ground where I'm stepping so there's no marks of me ever stepping in here. After that's done, is there another door out of this room?
Yeah, there's a few doors within the building. For the most part, you're looking at a small side chamber, which I'm just going to do open layer drawings real quick for simplicity. Let's see here. Long layer. There we go. Let's do orange.
Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm not taking any weapons with me.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously that'd be cumbersome.
Yeah.
So I just got my backpack with me. Cool.
So for doors, blue will be door.
Guessing this is the laundry room?
You're in the laundry room right now. It
All
opens up into the laundry room.
Alright. Since I wouldn't know where it's where, I'm gonna start with this one.
Alright. The door itself is closed, not locked. So you check the handle.
First I'm gonna press my ear to see if I hear anything.
Roll my perception check.
Perception. Oh my god.
24. Your dice rolls. Dear God. 23, 24, 24, 24.
I'm gonna roll a nat 1 when it matters,
Yeah.
like last time.
It's true. Alright, listening
Well-
at the door. It's pretty quiet. You do hear a faint scratching sound coming from within.
Like a small one, like a...
Like, let me go and actually grab some of it. Or give you the actual sound.
Oh god. Oh god, there's a
Scratching
zombie
at
in
a
there.
door.
Nerp stuck in this guy's house.
Is it a cat? If I open it, is a cat gonna get out?
It's probably a pet zombie.
Oh no.
I think I've seen this TV show before. It's called The Walking Dead. It's full of stupid people.
Yes,
All right.
it is full of
Let's
stupid
see
people.
here. So this is what you'd be hearing.
But
Wait,
then
one
again,
second.
the world is full of stupid people.
True.
Hey, look, we found an empty settlement with no zombies. Let's settle here.
All
It's
right.
not suspicious at all.
Can you hear that?
Hear what? Oh, somebody's writing.
So you can hear that now. Cool.
Yeah, so that's somebody's.
I've ruined a page of my notebook, but it's fine. Just got a whole bunch of blue scribbles on it now.
God, my ears are so good.
Yeah, that just sounded like scratching.
Man, if I was playing Hitman, I would try and go in and knock them out. Actually, I would have gone in through this window, taken out the guy, then brought him with me, and then use Weekend at Bernie's interactions. All right, so there's somebody writing in there. All right, let's do it. I'm gonna try and investigate the door first.
Roll investigation.
That's right. Is this locked?
The door is not locked. You don't see any trap upon it.
Right. Open it silently with sleight of hands.
Alright. Sleight of hand 22. Roll a check. Just in case you roll really high. Now. Alright. As you open the door, you would see it opens up into a small bed chamber. There is a single bed in the corner here and a small writing desk here. There is a small chest of drawers and what appears to be a small sitting chair in the corner here. You can see there is someone upon the desk across the way, upon a stool, not even a chair, but a stool, who is currently writing something upon a piece of parchment with a feathered quill.
Servant. Is what I'm guessing, right? It's not high quality, it's...
He does
Yeah.
appear to be in a finer quality outfit, but this chamber is definitely not a lord's or a noble's chamber. It's servants' quarters.
Yeah. If only I was a changeling. I'm gonna close the door again. Very
All right.
silently, just click.
I mean, that's a lot of hand.
I'm gonna slam the door shut.
All right. No problem. I was
Alright,
making sure you didn't
numbers.
roll a 1.
Alright, this is fuck. Alright, now let's get this door open.
All right.
So investigation first, then sleight of hand. This is where it was like, by the way, going through the alchemist thing.
All right. Looking over the door, it's not locked, and the door opens smoothly without much noise. Inside, you can see appears to be some form of light kitchenette. It has plenty of smaller, like shelves that house spices, some basic food supplies. There's even what appears to be some form of stove in the corner, a hearth that produces a decent amount of heat. There's a warm, bubbling smell coming from a stew, though it is somewhat fading, as you can see that the hearth itself, while it is somewhat still lit, it is on a lower heat. It is like a low ember, the log that's on it.
And then this door will lead into the study. Is what Morkek is guessing from the layout that he's seen. Alright, so I'm just gonna get out. Is they gonna bother closing the door? Like, is they gonna like nudge it close but not fully close it?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's fine. So that means this is another room he hasn't been in. But this one.
All right.
Same as before, investigation. Sweatpants.
Let me just look at my notes real quick. See how this layout's supposed to be. Okay. So, as you enter into this, or open the door, ever so quietly, you can see that it opens up into what appears to be a simple hallway with a set of stairs heading both up and down.
Right. I want to know where he sleeps. Probably doesn't sleep on the ground floor.
For purposes of up versus down, I'm going to use white for up and gray for down.
Oh, down, huh? Down is where they keep secrets. God damn it. Alright, I'm gonna go up.
All right. Making your way up to the second story of this building, you can see it is leads up into an upper landing, a simple hallway that has both to your left and to your right. There are several doors directly opposite of you, lining the northwestern wall, and you can see the hallway kind of curves around down in this direction. Now, for purposes of what this area would look like, you're essentially... Oop, horrible drawing, it's fine. Like so... I can make a pretty one later, it's fine. Alright, and then you would have side rooms like so, all throughout. Yes, phone, I hear you.
Beep, boop.
Pretty sure this is what it's supposed to look like, right? Yeah. I can't have room for that. There's more rooms on this side.
Okay.
There's specifically 2 more rooms.
All right then. I'm gonna have to find the room where the master bedroom. Let's go this way.
All right.
Is there a door here?
Yeah.
All right. So same as before. Investigation. And sleight of hand.
There are the doors, so you can see the doors.
Nice.
All right. Looking over the door, it's not trapped. It's certainly locked as you try to open it, though.
Oh, well, in that case, I'm gonna take out my thieves tool.
All right. Pulling out your thief's tools and trying to pick the lock. You don't manage to pick the lock. You don't break a lockpick, but you don't manage to pick the lock.
Alright, this is definitely it. I am gonna try one more time to pick this lock.
The lock is picked.
Yes. Alright. I already did my state of hands to open it, so I need to do another one.
Now you can use the old one. It's fine.
Okay.
All right. The door opens with nary a sound as you open it up to reveal what appears to be a bedchamber.
Alright, is it really fancy?
Let me go. It's certainly fancy. I'm just going to go look at my notes for this particular room's description. Let's see here. This chamber itself seems to be both fancy, untouched, and well kept at the same time. Like, you can see that there's signs that, like, no one slept in this bed in a while. But it seems like the room doesn't have a speck of dust on it either. You can see that the curtains are well maintained. There's no, like, signs of wear or tear upon them. They have seems to have been washed recently as well. The mattress's bedding looks silky smooth, no issues there. There's a large armoire that doesn't have any signs of damage or anything of that nature. It's a fine, untouched room, and that's weird.
Yeah, it is. But does this look master bedroomy?
It certainly looks
Or
like a
is-
master's bedroom.
Alright, well, you could just be a neat freak. So our Morkag is gonna investigate.
Roll my investigation.
Oh, I'm looking. Here it is. Investigation.
Alright. Looking throughout the chamber, opening up the armoire, checking inside, looking beneath the bed, searching beneath the pillows, the covers. Assuming you're doing all this.
Yeah, yeah.
The
I'm
area,
very thorough right now.
the area itself, surprisingly, perhaps unsurprisingly, doesn't have any, like, hidden compartments, any secrets, any missing pieces of parchment that somehow roll beneath the edges of the bed and a nearby piece of furniture. It's too clean. And the clothing, though, what you notice as you're looking through the armoire, it is designed certainly for a lord, but the attire is, well, can you provide me your lores?
Yes. Click. Not much in terms of nobility, I'm afraid.
So the wear in the armoire is certainly high quality, and untouched like everything else in this place. Besides the fact that there's no dust anywhere. What's interesting though is the clothing looks different. You saw the man in the study down below. He looked finely dressed, sharp, perhaps even handsome. And the attire alone was well crafted and certainly for the time. But the attire in here, it looks outdated.
It's really sus. Is there indication to who this room belongs to? Like
As
a
you're
painting,
looking around and checking out some of the bedside tables with a 23 investigation, you would notice that they are spots. One would normally keep perhaps a painting hanging over like a nearby table, provide it as like a sense of like regality to the area, or like a devotion to one's chamber or people that they would view as important. There's no paintings in here.
And the clothes were men's clothes?
The clothes were men's clothes, yes. What you are noticing, though, with the 23 is that you can just barely make out the sense that there were paintings placed upon the bedside table, or at least a portrait, as well as a painting across from the bed itself.
Hmm.
So, like,
It's only
if the bed is here, there would be a painting here, but you can see that that spot, ever so faint, but you can tell that there was signs that there was a painting that was once hung there of quite large size.
Ooh. What a twist. Alright, probably somebody died in there. I'll report that back once I get back. You can jump to conclusions. Like Morkag is right now. But that's not the master bedroom I was looking for, so... Gonna close that door, because I have to close this door.
Mhm.
With sleight of hand.
Which door are you opening?
Oh no, I was closing
Oh,
this
close.
door.
Okay, yeah. The door closes without any issue. No, like loud noise or anything like that.
Can I lock it back?
Do you have a key?
I do not. I do have my teeth, so I'm
If you'd
guessing I
like to
can...
roll your thieves' tools, you can attempt to lock it.
Alright, let's do that then. Click.
All right. A door doesn't quite lock. Doesn't break a lockpick, but it's still there.
Damn it. That was a 15. I'm not gonna risk it. I already made it this far. It's fine. They'll just whip the servant boy. Alright, so let's see. So these doors are fairly close together, right?
Yes.
And this looks like it's a small room. So he's not gonna bother with them because he is looking for the master bedroom. So after he gets to here, he's probably gonna go for the one at the end of the hallway as well. So this one.
All right.
Alright, so investigation.
Mm-hmm. That door is certainly locked. And you would see that there is a faint silver wire on the other end of the door. You can see it from beneath the door, from a little crack beneath the doorway, but there is a silver wire on the other side of the room. So, from you, you're here, silver wire here.
Oh, I see. So opening the door will...
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be tricky. So would it be possible for, like, if I unlock the door to, like, open it slightly? Does it look like? And then I can reach the wire?
It is possible. It'll be difficult, but it is possible.
Ugh. I wish I could watch it right now. Put myself into a spider, so I don't have to deal with this bullshit. But this is the room that's in the far end. When I scouted outside, did I see a window outside?
There are certainly windows on the outside of the second story, on that side of the house.
Okay. Oh, this is suspicious. But wait, I mean, if this is civil... Alright, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna unlock the door first, see if I can
All right.
do that at the very least.
You don't break a lockpick, but you don't pick the lock.
Ugh. I kind of want to come back when I'm level 5, so because I have expertise, so I get an extra 2 points. Right. This might be a issue though if you want to capture him alive.
Mm.
Alright then, in that case, maybe I'll find something else. I'm gonna go back. And I'm gonna go to the bottom.
Into the basement? Or just the landing?
No, the basement.
All right. Moving
This massive
into
bedroom is
the
extremely secure.
moving into the basement, it's a very simple chamber. Just draw this real quick. Essentially, you were looking at something like that. It opens up into, for clarity, it's an archway, it's not actually a door, but it would open up into what appears to be a wine cellar. So there's plenty of large shelves filled with wine bottles. There's a few kegs in the corner here, and just a few crates in the side as well. Storage area.
I'm definitely investigating this area. Wine cellars probably mean there's something secret.
Mm-hmm.
And after this, I'm heading back.
All right.
Unless I find something else.
Looking around, there's a couple of bottles of fine wine. You could probably net pretty profit off some of these bottles, but
Ooh.
nothing seems to stand out to you.
All right. I'm gonna take one bottle then. And head back. And I'll be leaving. So I'll be... And for the exit, like if nothing happens on my way out, I'm gonna try and lock the door.
All right.
Thief's tool. This one. Also, I don't know how long invisibility lasts or how long I've been here, so...
It's an hour.
Yeah. No, I mean, more in character.
Oh.
And he probably doesn't
He's
have...
told us that before, actually.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how long they've been scouting, though.
Yeah, that's
They don't
true,
have keen mind.
They don't. So I'm just gonna run back.
All right. While they were doing their thing, is there anyone else doing anything of note?
I actually went to Morkek's room and knocked on the door to ask him about the invisible ink diary, and I'm guessing I get nothing.
Well, knocking on the door, you would hear a knock upon the door. Would you do anything about that?
Oh no.
You said to use him as an alibi. I mean, use me as an alibi. Kane just calls out he's busy. Try again in a little bit.
Shrug and go back down and listen to Tarvis get drunk and recount really exaggerated stories of our adventures.
And start drinking songs, because Tarvis is well versed in drinking songs.
And I'll be his backup man. He'll be like, yeah, there was hundreds, thousands of them. Was there, Zerai? Oh yeah, man, totally.
All right. Drinking stories are shared, and the tavern seems to be interested in your tale. I need a performance check, Tarvis.
There's that button. Bloop.
All right. It's a well-spun tale indeed, actually. Even through your sloshed nature, it adds to the performance itself. You describe the heroics of the party's wagon, avoiding the horde of zombies, the blasts of radiant energy, and the forceful rhythm of your electric patron, your most powerful of musical notes. Throughout the story, it is, well heated, and many drinks are actually bought for you and your fellow companions at the bar from nearby patrons, though you don't actually need to actually have them bought for it because they're already being paid for by, Vasily Grigorovich. Small victories, though. Plenty of pats on the back, plenty of quite the sight to see. Some are a little scoffing, like, it's just a tall tale, I've seen better. You heard the tale of Lord Eastrad. And then, some spiels going into what Lord Eastrad did back in the day during the Crusades. fighting off against many night beasts on a hill known as Margrave's Hill, which was later...
Is that a cemetery now?
It is a cemetery now, yes. Which was later commemorated from his actions by a statue placed in his honor.
So there's a statue in the middle of the cemetery?
Mhm.
Hmm.
But, yeah. That's what you learn from your drunken conversations and your performance of a most fine tale.
I will ask Casimir how much we're going to tell Grigorovich. Like, do we want to tell him we know who did it? I mean, like, or do we want to keep that to ourselves and let the chips fall later?
Unfortunately, for the time being, we're not exactly certain who exactly might have done what. We have inklings, but I think it's better to hold the cards for, or hold our hand, whatever you want to call it, for the time being. If something arises where we might gain an advantage by revealing said information, perhaps then we can think about it, but I think it is better to listen to what Grigorovich has to say.
Yeah, I was merely thinking that he might be able to elaborate.
It is possible. I think we might be able to expand more on that based on what he has to say to us, after all. It seems he has something to add, at least as far as the rest of our job entails. So this was all going on at night, or in the evening, right?
Yeah.
Well, after talking to Zara, I forgot about it, and seeing as we were doing stuff at night anyway, or in the evening anyway, Casimir wanted to go seek out Yusendria again as far as getting more training for leading the actual carriage, if possible.
Wanting to seek out Yesenia?
Yeah, our driver.
The carriage driver. Very good, very good. Well, you would find her down below in the tavern.
Is she?
I didn't put her token down there, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, she would be enjoying some ales at a nearby tavern table.
Yeah, okay. I did look around for her first, and I didn't see her. So.
I just had her in her default position, which is out by the caravan. So, but at this point in the day, she would be in the tavern.
A good evening to you again, Yusendria.
Good evening to you. I take it things went well down there.
Well enough. Unfortunately, we're not ready to take you back into the woods to attune you to the stones, but...
No worries. I'm quite comfortable here for now. When you need me, just call on.
Well, in regards to that, I was curious if you might give me at least a few more pointers in regards to leading the carriage in your absence.
Gives like a little blink of the eyes.
Sure. Problem.
She'll kind of pat the table. Some of the people around the table give a little, like, come catch up when you're done with work. And she's like, it won't be long. And pats one of the drinks there.
Be sure to get a refill for me before I get back.
They give little nods and whatnot as she follows you out to the wagons. Or the, wagon carriage. But, alright, and she would provide you some aid in understanding the carriage and how to drive it. Anything you're wanting to do as part of this, or just continuing you're saying you're adding another day of downtime for this?
Yeah, more downtime training.
Okay, cool. I've added it to my list that you have spent another downtime training for the carriage.
Maybe have her take her weather eye over the carriage from all the nicks and scuffs we've done to it so far, and make sure it's not gonna fall apart on us.
It'll be fine.
All right. Throughout the practice with the carriage, she certainly does comment on the fact that it is covered in gore. but having it be cleaned up as part of your training on how to, use the carriage properly, you do fix up any issues that were at hand with the carriage. So consider it a fresh carriage, cleaned of blood, and black ichor from undead. But that is another day of downtime for you, and as you're doing that, a particular figure will slip on into the bar unseen. Mm-hmm. And, yeah. You have returned back to the tavern there, Morkag.
Yep. I'm making my way back to my room.
Excellent.
Oh, since I'm here, also gonna take some liberty. Since I'm invisible, and that chance won't happen a lot. I'm gonna start pocketing of the people I cross, except my party members.
Alright, roll me a sleight of hand check.
If my sleight of hand is big enough, I actually want to put the gold I steal into the pockets of my party members.
Alright.
Give them a little surprise. Would I have
And I would
advantage since they're
help.
drunk?
You would have advantage for
Years.
many reasons. Alright. Are you just taking a path like do?
Well,
talking.
yeah. Basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do like just like this. Then I'm just gonna
Okay.
just do a little roundabout, as easy as I can. And then whatever I get, I'm gonna put them in the pocket of Tarvis.
Alright. Well, there's one person I should roll for.
Remember.
And we just go and get their note so I can roll for them.
Who is it? Ariana Russo?
No!
Wait a
Oh
minute.
no.
Would you like to
Can I
spend
use-
Destiny?
Yes, I'm spending Destiny. It
I was
doesn't
gonna say spend Destiny or save face.
28. I already used
They
save
can't
face,
save face. No one can see them.
Oh.
so it's fine. I got a 28.
Alright, a 28. As you notice a keen-eyed observer in the corner who's, in fact, not drunk, but
Who is it?
Aliana.
Damn
Yep.
you.
They barely avoid you swiping your hand into the pocket of one Syrik, swiping out some coin and placing in the pouch of Zerai. And as you do so, through your looting of people, let me just check their particular money wealth pouches. Let's see here. Do.
You burned a Destiny just pickpocketing people.
Yes.
They've done it for less.
Please do not.
Oh, I'm gonna use them. Are you kidding? I spent an entire campaign, but the entire party spent like 5 Destiny the entire time. And it was a waste.
Alright,
Why did you
throughout
say that?
the 4 or so people that you do manage to swoop on by, plus some no-named NPCs that you swoop on by, you're able to gather a total of 18 gold worth of pickpocketed coin.
Nice. All of that is added to
Item lab.
Tarvis. Tarvis' pouch because
Pickpocketed
he's drunk.
gold.
He won't notice the extra gold.
Added to Tarvis's pouch.
What pouch?
Exactly.
You have a pouch now. Congrats.
Where did this pouch?
It
Alright.
does your belt for you, puts it in a loop.
I'm just...
Yeah, Tarvis is gonna wake up with a pouch of gold on his nightstand. Huh?
Alright.
Danu, why does she not have this pouch?
And you would make your way back up there. But while that's going on, Danu, your particular watching over the stall is fallen into the time of day that even Kaz Kranor would call it a night. And you would make your way to the tavern or somewhere else of your choice.
Yeah, she'd go to the tavern.
Alright. In the tavern, you can see your companions are currently certainly enjoying themselves upon the tavern, though only 2 of them are visible. You would see that Casimir is currently outside doing some practice runs with the carriage. And, yeah, there you go.
Oh, the carriage looks nice.
We'll put you outside for that.
Pretty
Oh,
cute.
John.
Well, it certainly had a bit of a gore issue, but we got it cleaned up nice.
Honestly, practicing with the carriage involves a lot more cleaning than I would expect.
It does quite a lot of maintenance to ensure that they drive smoothly. And you know how to fix it if it does break down.
I have made sure that all the axles are in functioning order, Danu, so your carriage is fine from now.
That's good. Thank you. I'm sure the rest of our group would appreciate it too. Much smoother ride, I'm sure.
It certainly will be a bit less bumpy now that we've moved the, shall we say, unwanted bits from the axle.
There was a head under one of them.
Oh my!
Well, I was trying to unsay that, but yes.
Well, thank you again.
Well, I mean, this is what you've paid me for.
Oh, Grigorovich wanted to see us some point either tonight or in the morning, so just so you know.
Okay. Well, I am a bit tired. Maybe in the morning?
I'll let them know.
And I'll go in, and she will head to her room.
Alright. Huzzah.
After looking at the drunks for a moment, and then we'll go.
Alright. Is there anything anyone else would like to do for the evening?
Tarvis is gonna assume that he brought this money with him so that he could find some people to gamble with.
Hi.
Excellent.
Other
Alright.
than that, oh yeah, good.
So you're wanting to gamble. Are you proficient with any gambling games or the like?
No.
Alright. Well, for sake of time, you can give me a d20 plus charisma, a d20 plus dexterity, or a d20 plus wisdom, depend on how you are attempting to gamble. So bluffing, cheating, or actually just playing the game.
Just playing the game.
Alright, wisdom then. Alright, well, anything to that roll before I reveal results?
You know what? Since it's gambling, here's a destiny.
Mhm.
Oh, yes.
Eventually, we'll learn this lesson the hard way. But for now,
Alright.
That's fine. In the other game, we use them liberally. It's been fine.
I mean, this group has
Yeah.
used 21 of them so far.
Oh my god.
I'm now
I've been using
curious.
the other part
I'm gonna
games.
check.
And you know what? I'm gonna mumble a prayer to Yotan and give myself
You know-
guidance as well.
Excellent. Alright, the
think
pirate
I've used
campaign
all
has
of
used 41.
One. I think I've used one or two.
You've used 2.
yeah.
Yeah.
Here it is. Ha!
I
have a 50.
accept my fate.
It's true. I have you listed as 0.
Oh, see? Even better than me.
Alright. With a 15, there are a couple rounds where you actually start losing some coin, but near the end of the night you start picking some of it back up and actually get a bit of a profit. So, with your gambling throughout the remainder of the evening, your 18 gold turns into 23 gold from gambling. So essentially I'm going to give you 5 GP from gambling to Tarvis. There you
Now
go.
what are you in that pouch?
Alright. And as that occurs, since I believe the only remaining thing for the evening is Morkag and Kane, we will go up there. Hey look, back to Morkag's chamber.
Yay. Alright, undo the spell.
Kane drops invisibility.
There's something off about the price. The marking
how
dimension,
so?
it's a warning.
Oh,
When I
it's a
went in-
warning.
Yes, when I went inside, I found a master bedroom, but it was empty, yet clean. The clothes were odd as well. And there used to be paintings on there, but not anymore. I do believe I did find his master bedroom, but it's annoyingly trapped.
Oh, that's lovely. Perhaps the
Oh.
other bedroom, the occupant moved out some time ago or something.
Perhaps. But if they moved out, then why are their clothes still in their cupboard?
Then maybe they're deceased or they were kidnapped.
That's what I was believing. However, if the room that's strapped is on the second floor, on the southern east side, there is a window there. So if we find the means to either climb up the wall or the ability to fly, we could probably get in through the window.
Perhaps? How bad?
It's at the... I couldn't open the door without risking pushing the wire to get to the trap.
So going up through the window is probably a safer bet to retrieve him.
Yes. Also, there seems to be one servant, and he seems to be the bookish type. And this is the type of wine he likes. And he puts down the bottle of wine that he stole.
Interesting.
If by all means you can get to him, perhaps you could poison that bottle and get him to drink it.
Maybe. Or use it as a way to just get in the manor. Estate.
We saw Kane shapeshift, right?
He with the cultist outfit, he was specifically like using the hood to hide him, changing his face.
Gotcha.
But looking past the disguise, you could tell there's different color of skin and so on.
You've also seen him use his special changeling ability, the once per use ability.
Unsettling visage, yeah.
Well, you seem to have a knack for disguising yourself. I did mention there's a servant. We could probably just take him out and you could take his place.
That could be an easy way to go about it. Perhaps the servant has some keys on him?
Oh, yes. There's a lot of rooms that are locked. The master bedrooms especially have a difficult lock. But like I said, the ones we want has a trap beyond it. So you might trigger it if you do open that door.
Right, and we don't want to go through that way. I can go up through the window. I just can't say how sneakily I will land on the other side.
Probably find a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks for a moment.
We could ponder on this a little more once we figure out further details like poisons and so on. If we need to use them, if not. If we're ready to even take him right now. I'm thinking when we do actually grab him, we're going to want to take our carriage driver and bring her through the woods as well.
Olive did already seem interested in getting the manor anyways. So once we clear the manor, we might just say that we found some documents about his interest in buying it. And then just offer to sell it to him. He might jump at the opportunity.
Those documents are still on the table.
I see that might be the right way to go about it.
Mm-hmm. Lure him there willingly, and then let the ghost do what the ghost will do.
Exactly. Offer him a tour and whatnot.
But we'll need to rein in the other specters beforehand.
Yes. Hopefully by tomorrow morning we'll have the tincture. The alchemist will have the stuff ready.
Somebody came up and knocked on the door looking for you.
Was it?
Sarai.
Huh. I can see him now. Oh, Get out of my room.
Candle get up and just walk out like, oh, all right, I see how it is.
All right.
Oh, did you want the wine bottle?
He didn't take it now.
Alright. Marcus is gonna tuck it away in the chest, and then he's gonna close the door.
All right.
Go back down to where Zerai was.
I'm still lucid.
Good. Zerai,
Oh, hey, Markag, I was looking for you.
what do you want?
I was wondering, I know you went to the alchemist. How to go with the invisible ink in the diary.
Forgot about that. But I'm seeing it tomorrow in the morning, and I'll make sure to remember. You can come with if you're that curious.
Sure. Yes, I am curious.
I could use a reminder in case I forget.
Sure, I'll knock on your door early. Not bright and early, just early.
Thank you. Was that all?
Yeah, that was it, man.
Alright, good. Enjoy the rest of the night. And,
You too, I'm headed to bed.
burp, 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 burp.
All right. Anything else you guys are wanting to do for the evening before we call the long rest and go the next morning for a brief little bit for the session? I'm seeing everyone besides Casimir upstairs now, so Casimir, anything else for you?
Oh, no, sorry. I was just outside because that's where you
Yep. All right. So, you guys' long rest is achieved, no problem there, all that good stuff. And you guys wake up fresh and early to the new morning, the smells of breakfast, which smells quite tasty. In fact, it's got a hint of cinnamon from it, from what you're smelling from downstairs, but could be just one portion of the breakfast. Either which way, though.
I'll go and knock on Markag's door like that I would.
It's now the 6th.
Oh, I guess we are meeting in the meeting room with the tavern keeper, right?
You guys all head on to the meeting room then?
Yeah.
Yeah, after grabbing some breakfast, yeah.
All right. Breakfast is provided and it's quite tasty. Seems to be a porridge for the most part. That seems to have a hint of cinnamon to it.
Yum.
Mm-hmm. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Boop. And as you all gather, Vasily will enter and will take a seat upon the table. And as the tavern's ambience dims, Vasily would speak up. Placing a large, or relatively large, treasure chest upon the table.
There is a payment for the job. But you mentioned there was things to discuss regarding it.
He'll slide the box to Dano, seeing as that she has what appears to be a strangely inscribed sack of bag of holding.
Danu will take the chest and inspect it.
It's a simple, about like a 2 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot jewelry box. Simple brass clasps, basic locking mechanism upon it, and inside you would find 1,200 pieces of gold coins.
Danu will put the box in the sack.
This for taking out the bandits?
Hey,
We are currently working on the other. We imagine we will have solution there.
well,
The undead within the manor have proven to be a much bigger challenge.
There's actively undead there. Not just a haunting.
Oh, yes.
It's like a
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
believe the property was a large mausoleum of undead, which we have to quash before we can even begin to sate Lady Rose.
The situation as of current is she's holding back some spirits. Somebody desecrated the mausoleum purposefully.
That's certainly worse than I expected.
We were able to get minor communications out of her specter.
If they are undead within the crypts, I can certainly say that the more powerful spirits are the ones drawing them from their rest. At least, other tombs seem to be reactive to spectral activity. It's possible if you can take out whatever's the cause of the strife. So, Lady Rosevein's anguish, or whatever other being it might have desecrated the tomb. The others will soon follow in slumber.
We know what ails her, but what ails the others, we don't know as of yet.
Yeah. It may be that somebody desecrated the tomb on purpose in order to agitate the spirits and get them to rise up. I mean, it looks purposeful. You cannot scratch off a name that well unless you intend to.
And then crush the chippings in the dust,
Well, if it is purposeful, I can't say for sure who might be the cause. Say perhaps the bandits, but you took care of them. You said you might know the anguish, the purpose of Lady Rosevein's anguish.
She showed me a vision.
What did this vision show you?
First, I have to ask you a question. How do you feel about the nobility that resides in this town? I'm going to insight his answer.
Alright, let me go look at his notes real quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that as well, just in case.
He kind of gets a bit lower in a hushed voice.
Well, between you lot and my local hetman isn't exactly forthright. We don't see eye to eye either. Many things. The new lord seems alright. Bit absent, but I mean, they were a soldier first and foremost, so I don't think ruling is sort of their thing. As for the other nobility around town, I mean, my taxes go to them. A lot of my own. I care one way or another about them, not particularly, but certainly not the hetman. Right asshole that is, one.
We don't need to incite that. That's just...
He seems pretty forthcoming. You do think he's holding something back with an 18 Morcag.
Well, I'll agree with you, the hetman scum.
You can speak more fairly. We are not of here, and have no interest in noble politics.
You may not be of here, but I am.
I was going to ask, do we know Gregovich's full name?
Yes.
I
We
know he
learned
sent
it-
you a letter and he's told you some stuff. So
Okay.
It was in her documents
We're back.
as one of the possible.
Yeah, we
Of
have
course.
his crest.
there you go.
Yeah. So, Mr. Metavici, what is I'm saying that horribly wrong, aren't I?
Matavici.
Oh no, actually. What is your dealings with Miss Rosevane? I've seen your family's crest.
Well, I helped her out a couple times during some research of hers. Watched over her children every now and then when she had an extended stay out of the area.
Hmm. Are you aware of the movements from House Turlev? What they were aiming to do?
I not particularly know. Starliv's been mourning for some time now. After the father passed. The master of the house passed a couple months back. Many of the Lord Andre, he's been quite absent. Beside himself, one might say, barely leaves the manor house. No really sees him, other than his servants. His own son left the capital not too long after Lord Eosmia left this waking world. And, Andre's brother, I believe he's doing work within Alderia, ambassador of such for the local lords in Karstein. But not many of them really pay much attention here. Lord Estrad, well, he did tend his lands here. Worked with the people every now and then, fighting feasts, but death, heart attack, Victor said.
Are you aware of their attempts to obtain Miss Rosevane's land?
No.
So much so that they stormed it one night with 6 figures. All in hoods, I couldn't make out who's who.
Kind of leans back in his chair.
Lord Tarlev did this. You're sure?
That's
She, Lady Rosevane confirmed that one herself. She wants him. Latruce is covering for him.
I was new. Horse was a right bastard, but covering for murder of our liege lord, well, was a bit beyond even his skullduggery. You have proof of this other than this vision?
She possessed me for a little.
Any tangible proof? Proof that we can take to Lord Estrati?
I'm looking through my notes.
we did confiscate some paperwork.
Yeah,
It was missing bits.
It's missing bit.
We have receipts in Lady Rosevane's word. We can probably properly communicate with her specter once she has the ability to focus on such. She is currently holding back the other evil spirits residing within the land.
Well, I can talk to Lord Estrati, see if we can see this.
His crest also has shown up amongst these documents. So we're not too sure what his interest in the land may or may not have been.
Now that can lead us a bit further down this path. A bit easier, one might say. Still, though, it is...
Shaky, yeah.
Yes.
Also, something about Tarliv wanting her hand in marriage.
Seem... It's a little jump for Tarliv. Definitely above station for him.
It could have been about trying to possess the land through marriage. Teen shrugs.
That would certainly be one such route to gain control of the estate. Would need,
Desecrate the tomb and make the spirits haunted.
Also, have you heard about the song of... It's in my notes, I forgot the word. Where's it in my notes? Oh yeah, the Song of Sorrow.
I know, Lady Rosevein was looking into a particular song. Helping them, some of the books that I have here. What I remember was a particular song with a curse tied to it. Comes by every 13 or so years on the hallowed eve. Says that those who hear it live not but 13 days hence, being the last.
Aye, and it's about that time again.
It is drawn close to that. You seemed concerned when we were discussing this, didn't tell me exactly why, but, I mean, some people around here know about this song. Mostly just a folk tale. No one really, dies from such songs.
Well, the other spirits on the land might have something to do with the song. That might be why they desecrated the crypt and so on. That all still needs to be investigated.
You're certainly unwrapping quite the maze of whatever this is. Different pathways and loose ends and just strange comings and goings.
You know, those bandits we just took care of were led by necromancers. They were talking to someone.
Yes, they've going around capturing people.
I think they were working with Lord Tarliv.
We don't know. We
That
tried
one,
to activate the summoning circle, and the other person didn't pick up. They refused to answer the call.
Well, you have the bandit symbol, though. You've seen it before.
Yes.
You can find sign of that symbol in Tarliv's house. That would certainly be enough evidence for Lord Estrati to take action. Especially with all the additional evidence you have.
Mark exercise.
I'm not sure if the two are directly tied to each other, if they could just be coincidences.
If they are a coincidence, then leads something further upon Tarliv to get Lord Estrati on our side. But there is other ways to calm spirits. I wouldn't recommend it. But one such way to calm a spirit is to ease their burdens. If Lady Rosevein wishes to seek vengeance, if Lord Tarliv did do such actions of raiding her estate and killing her, well, by all rights and laws, you'd likely be hanged for such an act. So, if you wish to bring him there, that would be such punishment.
She wants him, and as you can tell by what we have in front of us, there's a reason why we need such discretion.
Well, I'll leave it up to you if you wish to go that route. Certainly not be a pleasant death, but nor lady's rose veins in her children, so not fault you for choosing this path. And if you wish it, I will lay what distraction I can to provide you means you need to see Lord Tarlev out of Razvan discreetly.
So I guess we have a co-conspirator and potentially getting Tarlev out should we need it.
Yeah. And out of character, I assume you were showing him some of the evidence as you were talking. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He wouldn't be this forthcoming if he didn't have evidence, so.
Right, yeah.
But you guys do, so it's fine.
Well, that's the case. It's the plan.
And since we are a little bit over time, and as I have left an open-ended question, I will give you guys a week to prep your plan going forward, as we'll call the session here. I hope you guys had fun, and we'll see you guys next time as we go and raid some Cyphers playing Super Smash Bros., which seems like fun.
Good night, everyone.
You do.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for playing.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Yeah, thanks for the game as usual.
Yeah.
Thanks for the game.
And appreciate the sub, by the way, Tiff and Sky. Very much appreciated. Yeah. Anyways, raid. Alright. And there we go. That is the game.